over for Steve Weber, the all-time winningest football coach at Linton. In his 13 years, all Coach Weber did was win 6 sectionals, 4 regionals. He's finished undefeated in the regular season. The last 2 years, he won 128 games and lost only 29. That's well over 80% of the games coached by Coach Weber. He won. So big shoes, obviously, for Coach Oliver, but Coach Oliver was a standout player in this program back in the 90s. He's been a coach in the system for a good long time, and a very smooth transition as the Miners look to open off their 2013 football season here against Eastern Greene at Roy Williams Field. We're thrilled to death to be able to bring you another season of Linton Miners football. And Dan, we could spend a lot of time talking about the kids that graduated, the tremendous class, senior class from a year ago that was perhaps one of the most athletic classes in Linton football and sports history, and in multiple sports here at Linton. But it's a new season. It's a new era. We're going to go back probably to a little bit more traditional type of Linton Miner football this season.
And it's not something that Miner fans who've been around for a while, we've seen this offense. This used to be the bread and butter for the Linton Miners, was the double wing. We saw it a little bit when you first came aboard there in the earlier years. That, like you say, it's going to be tough not to keep mentioning some of those guys. That might have been the best team that we've ever seen at Linton High School. There'll be people that argue that, but this is a team that has a lot of seniors that haven't had varsity experience playing, and it's really their time to come out. Plus, you got some guys who really contributed big time to the program. You got Dane Rupska, who's the leading tackler for 2 years running. A whole lot of Zane Hayden, a lot of good kids coming back. So I think they, even though the rankings are number 2 and we're still being talked about around the state, I think they know they've got something to prove, and I think these singers are going to love the opportunity to come out there and be there. It's their team this year. Well,
how many times have you heard it said that kids who are maybe sophomores or juniors when a great senior class is playing, they're just biding their time? Yes. And the expectation level has been extremely high for Linton football the last couple of years, and honestly, around the area, probably people have the bar set a little bit lower, and that's probably put a little bit of a chip on the shoulder of some of our kids.
That's exactly how I describe it. There is a chip on your shoulder, and people laugh at me. Well, you're still number 2 in the state ranked. That's the laurels. That's the respect.
That's last year.
Got. Yeah, and I think we've seen this before. We've had 2 or 3 years where there have been great classes, and there's been some kids that come up, and sometimes they come out lackadaisical. Sometimes they just think wearing that L on the helmet, and they're going to walk out here and win. You got a team like Eastern that's hungry. They can't walk out here. You remember, Keith, last year, Linton was only up by 14 points. Going into halftime, we ran a hook and ladder, kind of shook things up. I feel that these kids, they've been successful in the JV level. When they came out, played a little bit late in games, we were impressed by a lot of these kids. So I really think they are fired up, and I do believe you're right. There are some that I think are going to have a chip on the shoulder because the people think we're going to be down.
Luke Dean is in his 6th season as the head football coach at Eastern Greene. They almost got over that hump of last year. They finished 5-5. They were really gunning for a winning season. He's hoping to get that done this year, but he has done a really nice job with that Thunderbird program.
And they have some size, Keith. I look at their starting lineup, 335 pounds. They got another 300-pounder. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you can move. Like you, the last couple of years, it seems like they've been right on the fringe of becoming a team that you really think can win every game they play. And then somehow they lose that sense around midseason, and they kind of drop 2 or 3 in a row. But they got Jared Gruber gone this year, and he was a big part of their offense. But you got to love the Martindale kid, and if they can stay healthy, every year they lose 3 or 4 kids to injury. That's a big thing for Eastern.
Well, they've got Cole Postel, a senior running back. We'll see him carry the football an awful lot. And third-year starting quarterback Briar Martindale. Well, those 2 kids primarily going to lead this Eastern Greene offense. We again welcome you to our broadcast. I'm Keith Dodds along with Dan Phillips from Roy Williams Field. Lots of sunshine, lots of heat and humidity. So it's a typical mid-August southern Indiana type of an evening, but it's going to turn out, it's going to be a beautiful night. It's a beautiful day right now for high school football. As always, we have interviews coming up with both head coaches, and we'll start with Luke Dean of Eastern Greene after this 60-second timeout. Linton Miners football here on Y93 is produced by Media 5 Sports.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, hello. I I'm hearing myself. I hear you. Yes. Yes. I'm coming in. Uh-oh. Yes.
Coach, after a 500 season a year ago, your expectations for this year's Eastern Greene football team?
You know, we want to build on that season, and we want to clinch our first winning season. You know, we felt like we had that opportunity last year and let a couple slip away, and, you know, we're determined to get that done this year.
Talk, if you would, about some of the key guys, some of the names of some of the people we're going to see that are going to have to lead your ball club this year.
You know, Brian Martindale, our quarterback, he's a great athlete, a great kid. Cole Postel is a senior running back for us. Hasn't got a lot of carries the last few years, but he's a fast, powerful kid. We got some athletic receivers: Cody Hopkins, Eli Jackson, Keith Ringer, Dominic Lucas. So, you know, a lot of those guys got to step up on offense. On the line, Stephen Gray, Cameron Fry, kind of the anchors of our offensive line. You know, we got John Day in there as well, and Jacob Williams. So we got some size up there, and, you know, I think those guys got to lead our offense. Defensively, Dakota Sims has been our middle backer. He started there last year.
Okay, here's Coach Dean in 3, 2, 1. We're back on our pregame show. I'm Keith Dodes, and happy to welcome Eastern head coach Luke Dean to our broadcast. And Coach, after a 500 season a year ago, your expectations for this year's Eastern Greene football team?
You know, we want to build on that season, and we want to clinch our first winning season. You know, we felt like we had that opportunity last year and let a couple.
Okay, check. Can you hear me, Ken? You don't hear me at all now? Test. I'm feeding you audio. Well, we were getting it before, right? All right, hang on. Well, I don't know what to do. We're just going to have to take it off my laptop, apparently. We're trying to get my internal mic back on. There we go. Okay, all right. So just bring. Okay, we'll bring it back after this then. Yeah, that's how we're getting it, is off the internal mic on my computer.
Yeah, so it should be back now. Are they not getting it?
Yeah, no, that they are.
Okay, so we're good there with the internal mic.
Yeah, we're back. Okay, we apologize, folks. We're having some problems with our interviews, so we're going to come back, and you're stuck with me and Dan. I'm Keith Dodes, along with Dan Phillips. It's opening night, and we're having some opening night spirits and spooks.
Modern technology.
Getting into some of the equipment, and we'll get that worked out this week. And when Sullivan comes to town next week, we'll have the pregame interviews with the head coaches. And Coach Oliver was very good in the pregame interview. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to play that for you, but well, maybe we can. Maybe I can just put the speaker. We'll give that a try here in just a couple of minutes. But Dan, we've got a good crowd here at Linton, and we've got the people down at the end zone level, just as always. We've got a big crowd filling up. A lot of sunshine over across the way, but that sunshine won't last long. The shade will get over to those people, and we should have a spirited football game. Anytime the Eastern Greene and Linton play, you can always expect the unexpected from Coach Dean.
Yeah, I mean, he would love to get over the hump and be in a contest with the Miners where he's in it at the end. I think every year they're in it the first part of the half, and then something big happens for Linton, an interception, a turnover, something like that. So I know they got some big kids. They got some good kids coming back. We talked about Briar Martindale. He ran for 301 yards last year, threw for over 1,300 yards, but had 12 interceptions. Cole Postel, I think that's how you pronounce it, he had 144 yards. He's got to try to fill in those big shoes. Tyler Dodd, a newcomer. Keith Ringer, a newcomer. Cody Hopkins, we've called his name. He's a senior now, was a freshman, started as a quarterback. He only had a couple of catches last year. Take it back at 10, and he ran for 9 yards as well. They got some big offensive linemen, as we said. Stephen Gray, that's 205, 237, 260. So, we don't have that threat of pass like we've had in the past, Keith, although I know we're going to try to be able to pass the ball. But I think we'll see a steady dose of ground and pound.
We're going to try to get this interview now with Coach Oliver. Hopefully we'll be able to pick this up, and you'll at least be able to hear some of the comments that he's had to make here before his first varsity football game.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roy Williams Field for tonight's varsity football matchup between the Eastern Greene Thunderbirds and your
That's not going to work out real well. We gave it a try. We're experimenting. We're playing around here. This is a new thing for us too, and that didn't work. So again, I'll start out. I hate to start the season with apologies, but that certainly is due. And
that's the worst we have to. That's the most we have to worry about.
Yeah.
Keith, at least we're still on the air. That's the
well, we're going to get high school football going here in just a few minutes. Eastern Greene coming in, and again they had a fine season last year at 5-5 under sixth-year head coach Luke Dean. And this Linton football team, Dan. Of course, the last two regular seasons, the Miners did not lose during the regular season. Indianapolis-Scecina was the only kink in the chain that the last two seasons. And, of course, 2 years ago, the Miners lost to Scecina up at Indianapolis last year, just falling short. As I look over to my left, and that vision of not getting in at fourth and goal from about the 1/2 yard line, that's something that's going to stick with the Miner fans for a very long time, but it's time to let it go. It's a new season, and this is a group that, especially on the offensive end, we're going to see a completely different look. I think gone are the 4 and 5 wideouts, at least most of the football game. We're going to go back to a double wing type set. You might, for the standpoint of the listeners that don't have any idea what a double wing is, try to explain that.
Well, what you've got is your quarterback's under center, which is something we haven't seen in a quite a long time. And of course, it's he runs the ball just like you would be a running back. You have two wing backs on either side. It's going to be Mitch Eberhardt, a sophomore, and Zane Hayden. Zane Hayden is the kid that just came up short. I know it's been eating him all winter and all spring. But what they'll do, they'll come in motion, and they have a fullback. It's going to be Austin Hale. We were impressed with him last year. They'll fake the ball to him sometimes. So both these guys are going to be crossing in the middle. It's a lot of fakes, a lot of fooling, and the decision has to be made by the quarterback on who keeps it. He reads the people, the defensive end and the linebacker. But the key thing in this, Keith, is their defense they can't key on one person. Any of those four guys can carry the ball, or Dane can keep it, or Bo Eaton, and he can be quarterback as well, and roll out, and they can drop the ball in the flat. I don't know that we're going to see deep passing tonight. We're going to see Bo Eaton at one of the receivers. We know that Grant Stom is going to be playing next week, so he'll be a deep threat. And but we'll probably throw the ball more to the wing backs. The old Linton fans of yore, we kind of enjoyed that ground and pound, and they busted. When they get out in the open, we've got guys with speed. Zane Hayden is very quick. They can go the distance. You were here last week, saw that firsthand against Cloverdale.
Well, then there's more deception with the offense.
Yes, very much deceptive.
Out of the shotgun, Austin Carazia, he's got so many Linton football offensive passing records. Won't even try to list all of those, but there wasn't really a whole lot of deception. It was either going to be a handoff to one of the two running backs, and a lot of times it was just an empty backfield, and you knew what was going to be coming, either someone in motion coming down the line at a handoff, or Austin was just going to stay back and wing it to somebody short, long. We had all kinds of kids that could catch the football, and there are very capable kids that are – it's not like the Miners are not going to have a passing game. Dane Rupster in the scrimmage last week shows certainly a lot of ability to put the ball in the air.
And you get it out into flats to people like Eberhard or Hayden and Bo Eaton. These guys can make open field moves. Hats off to Austin because he was incredible, but a lot of hats off got to go to those receivers, Bradbury and some of the other guys that got the ball after about a 6-7 yard pass, and their physical ability and running ability is what busted it loose. We still have that element for the Miners this year.
Well, our starting lineups are brought to you again this year by Midwest Natural Gas. If you want your energy source to be clean, efficient, cost-effective, and comfortable, then you just describe natural gas. Natural gas, still your best energy choice. Call Midwest Natural Gas for rebate information at 384-4150. Are you ready, Dan?
I sure am. We talked quite a bit about the offense. Let's look at the defense. Inside linebacker is going to be Dane Rupska. Singer, 6'2", 220. He's been the leading tackler for the Miners since his sophomore year. This is probably our biggest spot back. Cody Van Winkle is also back at inside linebacker. He is another Singer at 6 foot 205 pounds. He was the second leading tackler last year. In fact, 6 of the top 8 tacklers are back. So the defense, which lost 5 starters last year, was less affected by graduation. Austin Hale and Paul Goodman both going to be outside linebackers. Paul Goodman came in last year and did a real good job. Defensive end scheduled to be Dylan Morris, a 6'3", 235 sophomore, and Indiana Miller, a senior, 6'1", 225. The tackles will be Wyatt Franklin, a senior, 5'11", 260, and Jace Brewer, a junior, getting his first shot, 6 foot 300 pounds. The DBs tonight look like Curtis Cox, a senior, 5'9", 150, Bo Eaton, a 6'1", 185 senior, and Zane Hayden, a 5'9", 170 senior. On the other side of the ball, take a look at the offense that we talked about for Eastern. Brian Martindale is a junior, 6'1", 160. Looks like they're going to interrupt us with the national anthem, Keith.
We'll be back. We'll take a 60-second break and come back. Linton Miners Football is a production of Media 5 Sports. Okay. All right.
Hey, Keith, you have more volume.
Roy Williams Field. I'm Keith Dodds along with Dan Phillips. Miners are going to be coming back out on the field. We're just a couple of minutes away from kicking off action, and Eastern Greene is, Dan, still looking for its first victory over the Linton Miners. Not so much a new football program, but still, compared to many schools, especially Linton, it's still a relatively new program, and they're really chomping at the bit, waiting for the day, and I'm sure Coach Dean is getting his kids fired up, thinking that this could be the day.
And they are fired up. I've saw a lot more emotion out of them so far, and you got to watch out for guys like Dakota Sims. He's going to be the linebacker, their leading tackler, another guy. Linton has to be careful. It's so easy to sit here and say that they're not looking. I mean, Sullivan is week 2, Keith, and that's always a natural rivalry. They can't afford to come out and take anything lightly with Eastern, and I'm sure that the coaches will impress on that. Coach Oliver's first game as a head coach. We got the blue L in the middle of the field we haven't had before. We got some hash marks out there that we haven't had before. So there's a whole lot of new spirit coming in the game tonight, and I look forward to see how some of these young kids respond.
Well, our kickoff is always sponsored by Bob's Swit City. Make sure you kick off your evening with help from Bob's. Why cook when you can have your favorite pizza from Bob's, including their Farouk pizza, all their specialty pizzas, all your favorite toppings. They've got stromboli, other sandwiches, plenty of specialty pizzas, and all your favorite side items to go along with your pie. Call 659-BOB. That's 659-2623. Mike is in charge tonight. He'll take good care of you, and Amy will probably be back tomorrow, and they team up and get you all taken care of. Bob's Swit City, open at 4 o'clock every Wednesday through Sunday at the intersection of Highway 67 and 54, and Big D reminding himself here with our Bob's Pizza behind us of just how special that pizza is.
Hey, it's a good thing. I forgot all about it till I got up here, and I got some before Coach Laurie got to it, so I'm pretty thankful there. We should also mention that Mark Jennings is the defensive coordinator, and Jake Jennings, a stellar quarterback himself, is offensive coordinator, so a clean slate all across. But as you mentioned in the pregame, Keith, these guys at least 17 to 20 years, every one of these guys has been in the system, so it's not new to Linton. It's not new to the kids. Kids know them. They're a fired-up bunch, Keith. I'm sure you've been around them enough to know. They are enthusiastic, and they love some hard hitting.
Eastern Greene is in their road. They are, I should say, use the proper grammar. They are in their road white uniforms, white tops, white pants. They have red numbers and red trim. A little black trim around the numbers. They have black helmets with a red stripe down the middle and a red EG on each side of the helmet. They've got their 4 captains are going to be meeting out in the middle of the football field as the Miners, they're waiting on the photographer here as the Miners are going to run through the tunnel. A tunnel is formed over to our right.
And he's in a boot. He better be ready to move out of there quick.
He may be in another boot.
That does remind me, Keith, a couple injury updates. Of course, we lost Pierce Jackson, a good-looking sophomore, to a broken collarbone in practice last week. And Braxton Lannon is working out. He had a stretch fracture in his foot. Both of those guys are going to be key. Lannon will be a key member as we get going. I think for looking down at Eastern Greene, I don't really see anybody down there other than number 45 that's in street clothes. So not much change. Still the red-on-red jerseys for the Miners running down the middle of the field.
Right. The blue numbers outlined with white and a red L on each side of the red helmet for the Linton Miners. And as Dan's already said, this year we've got a great big L, a blue L, painted in the middle of the football field.
That's also in the middle of the locker room as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, they painted it in there.
So we're just about set to kick off the 2013 season for the Linton Miners. They are pre-ranked number 2 in Class 1A. They're tied, actually. Sheridan and Pioneer and Linton occupy the top 3 spots. And, of course, Sheridan has been added to the Linton football schedule. Union Duggar is gone, and Linton no longer a member of the what used to be called the Southwest 7. Now it's just the Southwest Conference.
North Davies as well has left the conference. Everybody thinks the 1A is wide open this year, Keith. Lafayette Central Catholic moving up, Cecina moving up.
Right. And those 2 teams have played for the state championship each of the last 2 years, Lafayette Central Catholic and Cecina, because of the new success factor that has been ushered in since they accumulated enough points by going to the state championship game 2 years in a row. They have to move up to Class 2A for the next 2 years. But there'll be plenty of other people ready to take their spots.
Yeah. Hey, it says a lot about Lafayette Central Catholic. Their people think they're going to run the table in 2A. Their schedule is already 3 and 2A.
Well, I didn't catch to see who's actually going to get the football first, but we'll find out just soon enough.
We never do seem to catch that, Keith. We watch so diligently for it, and then we turn away.
Well, we get caught up talking about something we have a little bit of passion for. Getting the band off the field here. The officials are taking their place.
Band is in their summer outfits. We didn't have those when I was in junior high, the old wool outfits. I think Linton's going to receive this kick, Keith.
Well, Eastern is going to be kicking off from right to left. Looks like the Miners going to go back into a receiving formation. Austin Hale is one of the guys back there. Zane Hayden and Mitch Eberhard are the two guys back deep to receive the kick from Eastern Greene. Eastern will kick it from right to left.
Should be Jordan Gray, number 53, who kicks the ball.
And we are just about set to kick off the season. Here we go. Ball's in the air. Comes to the near side at the 19-yard line, picked up by Eberhard. He's to the 30, to the 35, gets a block, puts his head down across the 40 to the 43. It's where the Miners will take over, first down.
Well, good
return by Eberhard.
We learned about Eberhard last year, Keith. He's a hard runner. He got the ball all the way out to the 43-yard line. Good starting position for the Miners.
Seemed like every name we called last year, Dan, especially late in the game after a blowout, all those younger kids still did very, very well. Quarterback's going to be senior Dane Rupska. Be a double wing formation. Coming wide to the near side is Curtis Cox. So we got receivers now. We got look like last year, 4 wide, the first play. And Rupska puts it in the air, and it's caught at the 45-yard line. A short gain on the play out there.
They tried to buck the odds there, Keith.
Yeah, it was Hayden who was the receiver. And a short pass gets a couple of yards. So just as soon as I say we're not going to see any 4 and 5 receiver sets, what's Coach Oliver do to me? He throws 4 receivers out there. Now we're at the double wing with Eberhard and Hayden. Hayden's in motion. He takes the handoff to the 45, big hole, midfield. Boy, got wrapped right at midfield. It looked like he was going to pick up a first down, but I didn't catch who that was for Eastern Greene. Made a nice tackle.
Eli Jackson, number 15, met him head up, and the ball sits at the midfield stripe.
3rd and 3 coming up for the Miners. First drive of the season. Miners moving from left to right. We played just a minute. Bo Eaton is also out there. He's split wide to the far side. Again, a double wing set. And the shotgun is Rupska. He takes the football, gives it to Hale. He's got a first down and more into the backfield for Eastern Greene across the 40 down to the 38.
Nice big hole opened up by the lineman. And that one could have been 6 if not for the tackle, I believe, made by 64 Stephen Gray. Nice running. Another kid we mentioned.
Austin Hale played very well last year in the reserve role. These kids have just been biding their time. So much talent in that senior class a year ago, and now these kids have an opportunity to make a name for themselves. Again, Rupska out of the shotgun. He's going to hand the ball to Hale again. He stumbles and falls and does not quite get back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
55 was right there, Noah Calkins, but I think Hale would have actually outran him.
Hale took the handoff. It was clean, but he just got his toe going the wrong direction on the turf and stumbled. Well, he actually was going to be lost 2 yards back to the 40, so it's 2nd and 12. I guess that's where the knee went down.
Hale on that long run against North Central.
There's a handoff to Eberhard. Tries the left side of the line. He gets down to the 35-yard line, so he's going to get a couple of those yards back. And we got a guy down for Eastern Greene. Right now it's Jordan Gray.
And you notice, Keith, in the pregame, I noticed he was sitting on the bench not doing the workouts, so he must have already had a problem. He took his helmet off immediately.
So we've got a break in the action. We'll remind you that our broadcast brought to you tonight by Fleetwood Promotions, offering creative marketing and fundraising options for your business, club, and organization. Call Kim at Fleetwood Promotions for promotional products, apparel, and a lot more. Anything with your logo. Call 698-2013, or you can go online, fleetwoodpromotions.com. Also brought to you again by Francis Jewel Box in downtown Linton. They're your class ring headquarters. Stop in and talk to Kathy Matthews about the deals that she has going on right now for your class rings. Always the best deals and hometown service from your local hometown jewelry store, Francis Jewel Box.
Well, he's up on his own power. That's Jordan Gray, Keith. He is a junior, 5'8", 181, a linebacker. Oddly enough, down as a running back as well. He's coming off. Looks like he's okay. That's a good news for Eastern Greene.
Well, we've got third down coming up in about 8 for the Miners from the Eastern Greene 35-yard line.
Probably 4 down territory too, Keith.
Again, a double wing set. Receivers to each side. Out of the shotgun, Dane Rupska, senior quarterback. Now looks at the sideline, maybe changing the play. Offensive guys look down at their wristbands. Look at the play. Now Rupska's going to go right up the middle, and he's got some positive yardage. Breaks it out to the outside, and is down close to the 25-yard line.
Well, that was all Dane Rupska, too. Looked like he was bottled up.
First down
3
run.
Yards. Broke a couple tackles. A 220-pound quarterback. You know who reminds me a lot of Janu Davis?
Yes.
He plays running back and linebacker. A lot of the same similarities.
Jano Davis, name we haven't heard for a couple of years. He did such a good job for North Davies. So 1st and 10 for the Miners at the 28-yard line of Eastern Greene. Rupska back to pass. He's going to throw it deep for Bo Eaton. He's out there and makes the catch. Touchdown, Linton. First drive results in a 28-yard touchdown pass from Rupska to Bo Eaton. And the Miners are up 6-0 on the Graber Post Building scoreboard.
Wow, a 7-play, 57-yard drive, and you couldn't pass that ball any better, Keith. That ball was a spiral, outstretched hands of Bo Eaton made the catch, and that's got to put some confidence in your offense if you can throw the ball like that as well.
Jay Kangura is going to kick the extra points. This is another change.
Well, it looks like it's 43 Trent Vowell out there.
Oh, Val is, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. He was who I was told.
You are right. 43 Trent Val is, and Paul Goodman looks like he's going to be the holder this year. For the extra point, Val on the way, low kick, and it is no good. It's wide to the right. So on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 9:26 left in the first quarter. Your score is Linton 6, Eastern Greene nothing. I'm Keith Dodds with Dan Phillips. Back in 30 seconds. Linton Miners football on Y93 and WQTYradio.com is produced by Media 5 Sports.
Kickoff for the Miners, number 34, Paul Goodman.
From left to right. And Eastern Greene standing back around their 10-yard line. Goodman puts the foot into it. Nice kick. It's going to be fielded at the 17-yard line. That's Jeffrey Graham. He goes to the middle of the field. He's out to the 40 and out to the 41-yard line. Graham with a nice return.
Jeffrey Graham, and some poor tackling there. He just went across the middle. Unfortunately, we had one guy left to make the tackle, or he might have been down the sidelines for a TD.
So from the 41-yard line, Eastern Greene will go 1st and 10 with their 3-year starter, junior Briar Martindale, a quarterback. Postel in the backfield as well. Martindale wears number 6 on his jersey. Going to hand the ball to Postel. He bobbles it, gets it back, and a short gain across the 40, out to the 42, maybe the 43-yard line.
Well, he looked like he bobbled that handoff. They were working with him on the near sideline before the game on handoffs. Not much on the ground there, a little bit of a hole. I believe that was number 58, Franklin, on the tackle.
Out to the 43-yard line, a gain of 2, so 2nd and 8 coming up for Eastern Greene. And this time Martindale is over center. Their backs are in the eye, moving from right to left. The pitch back to Postell. He carries to the near side, and he is hit in the backfield and dropped. Nice play by Trent Vowell. Vowell coming through on the defensive end. And a loss of 5 on the play back to the 38-yard line.
Vowell is one of those singers, Keith, that is a singer that hadn't seen a lot of varsity, but when he came in, it seemed like we always called his name.
Pass play, Martindale looks to throw to the far side. It is caught at the 46-yard line. That's going to be short of a first down. Miners were right there. Looks like Keith Ringer with the catch for Eastern, and it's 4th down from the 46-yard line.
And they're going for it.
4th and about 5.
Boy, that's big.
From their 46, they've got to get to the 49 of Linton, so they're right close to the middle of the football field. Martindale back to pass out of the shotgun, throwing to the near side. It's intercept. It dropped by Bo Eaton, and Bo knew he had nothing but Greene in front of him.
Nothing but Greene.
And he had that ball right in the breadbasket, and it popped right out.
He looked up for that end zone, Keith. That was 6, and great play by Bo Eaton, but now the Miners have the ball at Eastern's 46-yard line. I'm not sure about the wiseness of that decision by Eastern Greene. You get your team down by 2 touchdowns early at Linton.
So on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 7:30 left in the first quarter. Linton leading 6-0. They scored on a 28-yard touchdown pass from Dane Rupska to Bo Eaton. And Eaton, he could smell that second touchdown.
Oh, boy.
Just couldn't bring in the interception. Here's a handoff to Hayden right up the middle. Big hole. He's tripped up at the 30. First down. Good carry by Zane Hayden. Picks up 16.
A little bit of that speed, and he popped right up the middle.
So the Miners still are not huddling up, keeping that trend at least. They are looking over at the sideline, getting the play. And then they'll look at their wristbands. Everyone gets coordinated. Double wing formation. Eberhardt and Hayden are the wing backs. There's a counter play to Eberhardt. He cuts to the left side, breaks a tackle, and gets down close to the 20.
Well, you hear my oh my goodness, because the Eastern kid hit him, stood right up, didn't even look like he tried to tackle.
Just bounced right off of him. Gets down to we'll call it the 22-yard line, so a gain of 8.
Miners have racked up
for
52
Eberhardt.
yards now already in the first quarter. Rushing.
Again out of the shotgun. There's a handoff to up for the fullback, Hale. He gets across the 20 down to the 19. Should have a first down.
And they do call that a first down.
Hello.
To the red zone.
I don't have any idea.
Line.
Well, we're just going to have to try to fix that. I don't know. As far as I know, I'm still connected to you. Well, on the next play, we had a technical issue, and the Miners line up, and they get in the end zone.
Well, they called him down at the 1, Keith.
Pass play.
Down at the 1-yard line. And I believe it was Hale out of the backfield, and Rupska just rolled out like we talked about pregame.
So Rupska hits Hale, and he takes it down to the 1-yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Miners. Moving down to our right. Over center is Rupska, quarterback sneak, and he gets into the end zone. Touchdown Linton, and the Miners are up 12-0 on the 1-yard sneak by Rupska.
Rupska showing he can pass the ball 3 for 3 for 46 yards. Boy, if we can get that passing attack like that, when they have to crowd the line, Keith, on all those wing backs and all those guys who can carry the ball, it does leave the defensive backfield open.
So it's 12-0 Linton with just under 6 minutes left to play in the first quarter. So we're not quite, we're a little more than halfway through, and a 2-point try coming up for the Miners. Rupska hands the ball to Eberhardt. He tries the left side. Did he get in?
He did.
He got the 2-point conversion. Eberhardt scores 2, and on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 5:56 left first quarter, 14-0 Miners. Back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 Sports production.
figured it was do or die time at midfield and went for it. They have not shown the ability to stop the Miners at all. 2 very good drives. That one 49 yards, 5 plays. Here comes Goodman's kick.
It's a nice high kick and a running catch at the 12-yard line up through the middle of the football field. And I think that was Ringer, and he carries it out across the 25, and he is stopped short of the 30.
It is kind of
hard
hard
to the 30.
Hard to see those little uniform numbers, isn't it, Keith?
He gets close to the 30-yard line. In fact, the football resting right at the 30. So 1st and 10 Eastern.
I believe that was Dominic Lewis, number 10, that actually received that ball.
So a 14-0 Linton lead. And Eastern Greene with the football, moving from right to left. Their backs are in the eye. Briar Martindale hands to the second man through. That's Postell. He bounces to the near side after he was stopped. He's got 5 yards and a little more. He's wrestled down close to a first down, run out of bounds.
Zane Hayden tracked him down, but the Miner defense actually stuffed him right at the line, and he did what a good back does. Bounced off to his left, got around the end, and gained really the biggest play for Eastern so far in this contest, out to the 39-yard line.
2nd and 1 for Eastern Greene, wearing their white uniforms, red numbers, black helmets. Again, backs in the eye, looking for their first down. Fake the handoff. Martindale rolls to the far side. He's throwing down to the field. He's got a man open.
He's got him.
He gets behind Eaton, and Bo can't make the tackle, and a touchdown for Cody Hopkins, and Eastern Greene is on the board.
That's exactly what they needed. And
61-yard pass play from Briar Martindale to Cody Hopkins, and Eastern is on the board. They trail 14-6.
And that's exactly what they needed, and that's been one of the big fears when I did my preview this year, is that defensive backfield has got a lot of younger guys in it, and they got behind the defensive back. Passers on the nose, nobody back there to track him down. Now we know Grant Staub's not playing tonight, not enough practices in, but he probably would have been able to track him down. And now Gray, who was hurt, 53, coming in to try this extra point. Well, that couldn't have come at a better time for Eastern Greene.
So they're going to try to kick the extra point here. Eastern moving down to our left. Out of the hold of Jeff Graham. High snap, but the kick is up, and it is no good. Wide to the left. So on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 4:59 left in the first quarter. It's 14-0 in favor of Linton over Eastern Greene. Back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Security system from HiCom. If you want to know that your kids made it home safe from school, then you can get email alerts when they walk through the door, and even check on them with a live video feed via your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Get more information, call HiCom at 800-819-8141 or go online to callhicom.com. Eastern Greene will kick off, and they'll be kicking right to left.
Well, that was just a huge play, and Hopkins had gotten open, and a pass right on the number.
Martindale showing his poise and his experience. He's a third-year quarterback now, and he laid it right out there. Low kick. It's going to be taken at the 1-yard line by Trent Vow. He goes right up the middle of the field and gets out close to midfield. So, again, the Miners will have excellent field position.
Yeah, he took the ball good. Foul is the starting tight end for the Miners this year. Again, great field position at the 50-yard line.
Linton will start from their own 49-yard line. 1st and 10. So the Miners have had good field position throughout the early stages of this football game.
Yeah, the 43 of their own, the 46 of Eastern, now the midfield stripe. They've scored every time they've had the ball. This familiar look here as well.
Yep, conventional set. Wide receivers, 3 of them to the near side. The handoff is to Hale. He lost the football and recovered by Eastern.
Fumble, and that one is recovered right up the gut. Looks like number 63, maybe Cameron Fry. Momentum changer.
Hale tried to jump on it himself, but he was being held by one of the Eastern defenders, and he wasn't able to get to it. Nothing but white jerseys there to fall on that fumble. First turnover of the season goes to the Miners.
Well, we're going to have to get a pass rush on Martindale. He can't have all day. Cody Van Slyke almost got to him.
Hale had picked up 2 yards, so the football actually is at the 49 of Eastern. They're at their own 49. Out of the shotgun, Martindale back to throw. Fakes now. He throws it deep for Hopkins, and this time it's too long, and Bo Eaton did not get burned on that play. He was the closest receiver. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 for Eastern.
He had kind of bit on that last one. This time he stayed right there. I'm sure he heard all about it when he went to the sideline.
Well, Martindale with that short little fake and then winged one out there. He gets the play from the sideline. One thing about Eastern Greene, they are not going to just roll over.
No.
They got down 14-0. It's 14-6 right now. 4:43 left in the first quarter. 2 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side for Eastern. 1 back with Martindale. And there's the handoff to Postel. He comes to the near side. He's hitting the backfield but breaks the tackle. Gets across midfield and is run out of bounds close to the 40-yard line of Linton.
Val almost had him at a line of scrimmage. A little bit too much room out there. The outside backer, he fits him in, getting earmarked out there. A nice gain.
Picks up 9.
Might have been the guy to get him out of bounds. Nice running by Postel.
Down to the 42-yard line of Linton. So 3rd and short coming up now for the Thunderbirds.
Well, if they went for it at midfield, they're going to go for it down here if they don't get this.
You'd certainly think so. Backs are in the eye. Martindale is over center. Give is to Postel, the second man through, and he pushes the line close to that 40-yard line. He probably got enough forward progress for a first down. We'll see how the officials spot it and see if they bring the chains out. He is at the 41-yard line. That's where they had to go, and there is no measurement. It's a first down indication.
Yeah, it looked like he had the first down there. Rupsko, we haven't called his name much defensively. He and Rydell were on the tackle. I don't have a lot of success on the running game, but just a couple pops on the outside. We look at the outside linebackers. They're the ones getting kind of cut off out there.
So 1st and 10 for Eastern from the Linton 41. Handoff is fake to Postel. Martindale keeps it. He breaks it to the outside. He's got some room to run. He's got a first down, and he dodges out of bounds around the 28-yard line. So Eastern Greene is on the move. They're trying to tie this football game up.
That's one of the things about Martindale you got to like. He can throw the ball and he can run the ball, and you could just feel the momentum and the confidence swelling now on the Eastern side.
Linton scored touchdowns on their first 2 series, and their 3rd series ended with 1 play on a Austin Hale fumble, and that's why Eastern has it and moving now with 3:50 left in the first quarter. Backs again are in the eye. Eastern moving down to our left. The give is to it's fake to the fullback, and Martindale keeps it. He's across the 25 down to the 24. It's going to be 2nd and 6 coming up.
And Rydell is going to be on the tackle, number 56. Martindale showing some elusiveness.
Checking in is Cody Hopkins. He caught that Eastern Greene touchdown pass, the 61-yarder. That's got them on the board, but trailing Linton 14-6. Clock is moving down to 3:15. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. The lone back is Dobbs.
Quick pass.
Quick little bubble screen, and it's caught by Hopkins. They just can't bring him down. The Miners can't get him down. He's finally tackled around the 15-yard line.
Quick pass out. They're finding all sorts of success in the passing game. Tackle that time made by, again, Cody. Let me make sure I get his name right. Cody Van Winkle, I call him.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3 minutes and counting.
They're moving the ball pretty easily right now. It was a 9-yard gain, a lot of physical pushing by Hopkins.
First and 10 from the 15 of Linton. Eastern Greene on the move. Martindale out of the shotgun. 4 receiver set. He's looking down the field. He throws it across the middle. Caught at the 10. Breaks 2 tackles and gets. Did he get? He did. He got into the end zone.
Boy, oh boy.
A lot of missed tackles there. And the touchdown to Keith Ringer. 15-yarder.
And that was some very, very uncharacteristic poor tackling by the Miner defense on that whole drive. But that play there, he just went across the middle, stood there, caught the ball, and broke 2 tackles and strolled into the end zone. And that's not Miner-like.
4 touchdowns here in this first quarter. Still 2:37 left. And Eastern, with a 2-point try, would tie the game. They're not going to get in, as Martindale tried to run it himself and lost yardage. So on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 2:37 left to play in the first quarter. It's Linton 14, Eastern 12. Back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Highly skilled professional staff available 24 hours a day in a comfortable, compassionate environment. Retirement living has never been better. Contact Lions Health and Living Center for a personal tour at 659-1440. 14-12, Linton. Miners scored the first 2 touchdowns. Eastern has responded. The only difference is the Miners converted on their 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Eastern did not.
And this game was so close to already getting out of hand for the Miners. Had they made a defensive stop, they hit a 61-yard TD for Eastern, and wham, they're right back in the contest.
Nice kick. It's going to be fielded at the 15 by Eberhardt. Up the middle of the field, cuts it to the outside to the 40. Gets a block, still on his feet. He's at midfield, goes to the outside. He's got a block, and he is down to the 20, down to the 10, and a kickoff return touchdown. Mitch Eberhardt.
85 yards, Mitch Eberhardt, and gosh, he's living up to the hype. He's just a sophomore, Keith, and boy, that's the Miners desperately needed that to get that defense back on the field and get some fired up. But, boy, we've had a history of guys that can bring that ball the distance, and Mitch Eberhardt's another one in the long list.
He got some good blocks.
Yeah,
he made a lot of good moves, but he got help.
He made a nice cut to the left at about the 45 and broke a tackle, and then when he got out in the open speed-wise, nobody going to get him.
Well, Trent Val is going to – the Miners are going to go for 2 here. Val was 0 for 1 in his extra point tries. So Rupska is back out there, and the Miners look like they're going to go for 2. Odd not seeing Dylan Deisher out there.
Sure
graduated last year. Here's a keeper by Rupska. He rolls, throws to the end zone, caught for a 2-point conversion, and that was Trent Val.
And that was wide open.
So with 2:23 left in the first quarter, a lot of points, and we've still got 2:23 left in the first quarter on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. It's Linton 22, Eastern 12. Back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Have to say, people who like offense, they like this football game.
And I preached in the previews all year that we're not going to see that scoreboard lighting up like we did last year. And, well, we're seeing
like a pinball machine.
44 points in the first quarter. Now, we don't like seeing 12 for the opponents, but we like seeing 22 for the Miners.
Eastern's got Dominic Lucas, a senior, and Jeffrey Graham, a freshman, back. And the kick is a short kick. It's going to be fielded at the 23-yard line over on the far side of the field, and they'll return it out across the 30. And that looked like Joe Smith.
Yeah, number 3.
So Smith will get the football out across the 33-yard line is where Eastern will take over at their own 33, 1st and 10.
Now the Miners have got to find a way to defend the pass, Keith. There's been no pressure whatsoever to Martindale. He's been able to stand back there and throw the ball.
Splitting wide to the near side is Hopkins. He's caught a touchdown pass. They've got a full house backfield. And the give is to the second man through, Postel, and he is hit and dropped for a loss.
Immediately, Rydell was the first one there, but he took a good pop from the outside. I believe that might have been Goodman, 34. It's hard to tell.
There were a lot of red jerseys back there in that backfield of Eastern Greene, so that play lost 3 yards for the T-Birds at 2nd and 13.
Rydell wasn't slated as a starter tonight. He's the starting center, but he looks like he's taken over at the left defensive end position. We also see Jace, 41 for the Miners. That is Jace Herndon at linebacker, giving Rupska a spell. And that's something I think we're going to have to see this year.
We got some depth
at that position, certainly.
Martindale is over center this time, straight back to pass. He is going to have to run now. He comes to the near side. He throws one downfield to Hopkins, and he makes the catch, and Eaton is there to bring him down, but at the 38-yard line of Linton. And again, Hopkins got behind Bo Eaton.
Well, we've grown accustomed, Keith, to having such a stellar defensive backfield with guys with 2 and 3 years experience. I guess we got to expect a little of this, but I hate to pick on a kid, but he bit again.
Well, Bo Eaton's a proud kid. Yeah. He's going to take that personally, and he's there's no one more upset about it than he is.
Looked like Martindale was going to keep it and run it, and he was going to come up and try to fill that gap. And Martindale did a great job of stopping.
He stayed behind the line of scrimmage so he could fire the football down the field, and Hopkins, give him credit, a senior out there. And we've got timeout on the field right now with 1:23 left in the first quarter on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. It's 22-12 in favor of the Miners. We'll remind you our broadcast is brought to you by Southside Express in Linton. Southside Express has everything you need when you're in a hurry, and they are locally owned and operated. Also by Midwest Satellite. If you're looking to reduce your TV bill, call Mike Morin at Midwest Satellite. Sign up for Dish Network. Packages starting as low as $19.99 a month. Free installation, free equipment, and a free iPad. And Mike will even pay $50 on your first bill. Again, don't call an 800 number from Lord knows where. Call Mike Morin at Midwest Satellite. He'll treat you right.
Kind of a scary stat, Keith. Eastern Greene has more total yards now than we do. Of course, we've got an 85-yard kickoff return, but they've got 154 to our 104. And their first 2 drives were 3 and out.
They're passing the football nicely.
Yeah.
Out of the shotgun, 4 receivers set for Eastern. They're sticking with the pass right over the middle, caught at the 25.
Wide open out there.
And that time it was Ringer. Hopkins and Ringer becoming Martindale's favorite targets, and Eastern Greene can kind of smell blood right now with that passing game, and they're sticking with it.
I think they found the Achilles heel right now for the Miners. I don't expect this is going to stay this way for the Miners. But
down to the 24, 1st and 10. Again, a 4-receiver set, 2 wide to each side. Postel is just to the left of Brian Martindale out of the shotgun, moving down to our left. Snap to Martindale, has protection. Now he's flushed out, runs to the near side, tucks the football to the 20, slides down. There was contact, but no flag. So a gain of 4 for Martindale on the scramble. 2nd and 6 coming up for Eastern. 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Linton leading 22-12.
Yeah, Val came up. It's a tough position because he rolls out, and he's got such a wide open area. He can tuck and run for 6-10 yards every time. And what we saw before was if our cornerback shoots up, then that leaves the receiver wide open. It's definitely
a lot of one-on-one coverage. Yeah,
there's not a lot of experience back there.
Out of the shotgun, Martindale for Eastern Greene. Looks to throw.
No rush.
Now he has to run up the middle, and he is going to get sacked. He's going to lose a couple of yards back to the 22, and that's going to do it for the first quarter at the end of 1 on the Graber Post Building scoreboard from Roy Williams Field in Linton. The Miners 22, the Eastern T-Birds 12. I'm Keith Doge with Dan Phillips. Back in 60 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Around after the football game for the Bender Lumber post-game show. We'll also be announcing our Graber Post Building Star of the Game during the post-game show, sponsored by Bender Lumber. And we'll have Coach Brian Oliver up in the press box to talk about this one. We've had a lot of action already. If the game ended right now, we'd have a lot to talk with the coach about. We're just 25% of the way through. It's 22-12 in favor of Linton.
It's like Coach said after the scrimmage, you know, we know that Cloverdale is a little down, and that's not how it's going to be. Eastern with 139 yards passing in that first quarter with 173 total. The Miners with 104. The offense for the Miners has not been stopped. They've done a great job short of the fumble. But Eastern now almost just going straight to the pass and finding success. And I'm sure Miner coaches are trying to get somebody out there that might be able to do something. I'm seeing some different numbers out there. But Zane Hayden is at that safety position, and he's more or less a center fielder.
3rd and 8. For Eastern in 4-down territory, out of the shotgun. First play of the second quarter. Martindale looks to throw to the near side. It's incomplete. And it looks like his receiver that time, Gavin Hill, a sophomore, just took his eye off the football like he wasn't going to be the main guy.
Yeah, and he was open. Paul Goodman was there quick, but it would have been close to a first down. And now, like you say, 4-down territory.
Eastern down by 10 to Linton, 22-12. These teams do not have the capability now of meeting in the tournament because Eastern Greene got bumped up to 2A, and they're in a sectional that's loaded.
They're still a sectional 40, though. That's what's weird about it. That's the 2A. Right. That's the 2A sectional.
That's because they've added the 6th class.
There was Sullivan, I believe, in that same section. I don't even know. We're in sectional 48, I think. That's totally confusing to me. Big play for the Eastern T-Birds right here.
And we got a timeout. Eastern is going to take a little bit of time to talk this over, and we're sectional 48.
Yeah,
that's the last of them.
Man, oh man.
On the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 11:55 left before halftime. 22-12, Linton leading Eastern Greene. Back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production.
Weekend for the Midwest largest free music fest. Starting Friday, the Red Music Fest. 3 days of pure good music. All free.
Clap your hands.
Button down for a second before you start talking. They're going to the field side about 3 out of 4 times.
Oh, we got 4th down coming up for Eastern Greene after the timeout.
A lot of talk in the number 9.
That voice you're hearing in the background is one of the Linton assistant coaches, Joe Lorig, up here in the press box, so you get a little bit of an inside track there.
Yeah, they're having some first game trouble with their headsets as well.
Here's a handoff to Postell, a double handoff, and it's fumbled and picked up by the Miners.
They tried a little bit of a trick play, and I'm not sure who was there first, but Rydell looks like he's back there.
Back to the 35-yard line, so the Miners wind up getting 13 yards out of that botched 4th down play. They were going to try a double handoff, and it did not work. So the Miners will take over on downs at their own 35. 1st and 10. Once you get this first football game over with, technically, and all the other elements, everything it's just always something about that first game. I always have a lot of anxiety about that first game. Get that out of the way, and we can get everything fixed, and everybody's going to. 2nd and 2, 8 yards there for Rupska. And just remember when he was a freshman, we could tell right away he was going to be a good one.
And he caught a lot of passes across the middle last year.
Absolutely. Double wing formation. Hayden in motion. He takes the football. He's got a first down at midfield, and he is tackled right there at the 50-yard line, picks up 7.
Took a good pop right there in the middle. I believe 33. That's their leading tackler. That is Dakota Sims.
He's just a junior. Actually, the football is at the 49-yard line of Eastern Greene. So the spot gets the Miners an extra yard. And we got 1st and 10. Linton already leading 22-12. We had a old-fashioned gunslinging shootout in that first quarter with a lot of yardage, a lot of points. Here's Rupska back to pass. Here comes the rush. He goes to the far side, going to keep the football, and he gets a couple of yards out of it down to the 44.
There was my first
46, sorry, picks up 3.
Big grunt as a Miner come
you must
back.
You must have seen a good block.
You see the results. Probably got it knocked out him for the Eastern player, but he got a good hit back. You know, something we haven't seen, Keith, is the yellow flag tonight.
And we've got an injury timeout on the field as Eastern's coaches will go out and tend to their injured player with 10:24 left before halftime. It's 22-12 on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. We'll remind you that our broadcast brought to you in part by the Asphalt Doctor in Bloomfield. That's who you need to call for all your paving, seal coating, and repairs. Call the Asphalt Doctor for a free estimate. That number is 327-4446, the Asphalt Doctor in Bloomfield.
Noah Calkins looked like he just had the wind knocked out of him, hustles off the field full steam. You always got to like to see that. When you're moving laterally like that, Keith, and you're watching the ball, you're wanting to hit the guy so bad and you don't even see the guy coming. And
you're really good at calling that. I get the feeling that you had that happen to you a time or two.
I've been on both sides of that.
The delivering and the receiving.
One time I hit somebody, it was actually the official.
Man in motion gets the football. That's
what
Hayden.
A play.
And he breaks a tackle and gets a first down. Oh, it's Eberhardt. I'm sorry.
What a play.
Mitch Eberhardt broke that tackle. He was headed for a loss, and he winds up getting a first down for the Miners down to the 35. He picks up 11.
Gosh, he was headed for a good 8-yard loss. And
that was all Mitch Eberhardt there.
He's a strong kid, and the guy had a pretty good hit on him, but he used his hand to keep him up there. You know, Franklin's coming off the field, one of the starting linemen.
One of the best things about Mitch Eberhardt, he is just a sophomore.
I know.
Oh, there's a bad pitch, and Rupska picks it up, though. He's going to try to make something out of it at midfield. He goes up the middle of the field and is tripped up at the 42-yard line. We're going to lose about 7 yards, but it could have been a lot worse.
Big loss, and the kid that kind of got him by the fingernails is Genis, number 15. I didn't see what happened there.
Going to lose 8 yards back to the 43, so it's 2nd and 18 right now, with the clock moving down under 9:30 left in the first half, and a 22-12 Linton Miner lead. That's where we were at the end of the first quarter. We had 5 of the first 6 possessions in this game resulted in touchdowns. It was either not a good snap or the handoff. So we got a double wing formation. Man in motion is Eberhardt, but right up the middle, the fullback, Hale. He's got a big hole. He breaks a tackle. He's got a first down at the 30, and finally drugged down at the 25. Austin Hale with a nice run.
Stop is made by number 32. That is Brent Price, and bursts right up the hole. And double wing's good about that. People start getting used to seeing it go to the wing back. They don't look at the fullback. Boom, he hits the hole, and that's a big play. Now it's 3rd and short, certainly. Oh, first down, they say.
At the 25-yard line.
33 yards on 5 carries for Austin Hale in his first varsity start.
Again, double wing formation. Hayden, the man in motion, running to the near side, though, is Bo Eaton. He's going to throw it across the middle, and it's incomplete. Incomplete intended for Eberhardt. Pass may have been just a little bit behind Eberhardt.
Yeah, that one was he might have been shocked he was that open. That was a kind of a yeah, he's in at quarterback right now.
Eaton is taking the reps right now. Bo Eaton at quarterback. Clock stops at 8:44 left in the half.
That's the first incompletion of the game so far. So you hope Rupska's okay. He had that one scramble.
Eberhardt and Hayden are the wing backs. Hale, the fullback, behind Eaton in the shotgun. The give is to Hale right up the middle. Another nice hole.
Breaks the tackle.
Austin breaks it all the way down close to the 10.
Well, I like seeing that.
First down for the Miners.
64 on the tackle. That's Stephen Gray.
Yeah, they're going to call it first down at the 10, but I think football is actually closer to the 11.
Yeah, looks back.
Miners can get a first down without scoring a touchdown, so we'll call it first and 10 from the 11. 8:20.
Eaton is at quarterback, number 19.
And the option plays a pitch back to Eberhardt. He tries the near side. He gets down close to the 5. Stays in bounds. Eberhardt going to take the football down about 5 yards.
Well, we haven't seen the option in a lot of years. Always a little scary seeing that
It
ball
is.
in the air.
Absolutely. Right down to the 5, a gain of 6. 2nd and 4. Again, Linton can get a first down without scoring.
31 yards now, Eberhardt on 4 carries. The Miners have 118 rushing yards to go with 46 passing yards.
Eaton out of the shotgun. Gonna keep the football, and he is snuffed for a loss. Bo didn't get the block he was looking for, and he ate the football back at the 8-yard line.
That was Sims, the middle linebacker. And now we see Rupska come back out on the field, so it's good to see him back out there. And Eaton moves to the wide receiver position.
3rd down and 6, we'll call it. Rupska out of the shotgun. He rolls to the far side, and he is hit.
Throw it.
He stays on his feet, gets rid of the football, and it's caught. No, he was out of bounds.
Great effort by.
That's just the strength of Dane Rupska. The lineman just couldn't bring him down. Rupska stayed on his feet. He got the football away, and Hale caught it, but he was out of bounds.
I was waiting for the official to call him in the grasp.
Yes.
And even so, he threw it where nobody else could get to it. It wasn't just a throw out for nowhere. Hale almost made a great catch. And now the Miners, who've had a nice 11-play drive, are looking at 4th down.
Over center is Rupska. And they drew Eastern Greene offside. Offside against Eastern. That's the first penalty.
That won't quite give us a first down, but that'll make it a bit easier.
Instead of 4th and 7, it's going to be 4th and 2.
Linton has always been very good at that, drawing somebody off sides.
Rupska looking over at the sideline, gets the call.
Ooh, here comes big old number 78 out there. That's John Day, 335 pounds.
And the Miners are probably going to call a timeout here. Play clock is down to 10. Now the Miners are just now getting up to the line. Clock is down to 7. Over center is Rupska. They're going to get the play off. Wait a minute. Whistles beforehand, and Eastern Greene called the timeout. So just as Linton was getting the play off, Eastern called the timeout. With 6:52 left before halftime on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, it's Linton 22, Eastern Greene 12 at Roy Williams Field. Back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production on Y93. Hey, you've still got time to call Mike at Bob Swit City. They're open till 8. Don't forget, every Thursday, $10 Thursdays at Bob Swit City. A 14-inch pizza with any number of toppings, just $10 every Thursday at Bob's. Call 659-2623.
Well, the Miners stopped Eastern on their 4th down attempt, Keith. This is a big play for Eastern's defense.
4th down and 2. From the 3-yard line. Rupska goes right up the middle, puts his head down, and we'll just have to wait until the pile is cleared before we see if he got a first down or not. He's down to the 1-yard line. That's where he had to go, and first down. 1st and goal on the keeper by Rupska right up the middle, and that's just something we did not see the last couple of years.
Something we didn't have last year, Keith, and we talked about it quite a bit. That that big bruising running back that can get that half yard when you need it.
So it's first and goal. The Miners already leading 22-12 with 6.5 minutes left in the first half. Miners scored the first 2 touchdowns. So Eastern Greene finds themselves down a couple of touchdowns once again.
I'll tell you what, though, with that 61-yard touchdown passes, you can come back pretty quick from that. I see they've moved Eberhardt now out to that right cornerback position.
Hayden still at free safety. Martindale out of the shotgun. Has to run it.
There we go.
He's hit, gets away from a tackle. Now he is finally brought down.
Got a Miner down on the
field. And there's a sack. Yep, we got a guy down at the 26-yard line.
That was Indiana Jones that finally got him, but
Indiana Miller
made the tackle out there, but trying to see, can't quite see the number on that Miner player, but he's down to 26.
So we got a Miner player down. 6:02 left in the second quarter, 30-12. Miners. If you just joined us, 5 of the first 6 possessions in this game resulted in touchdowns. The first 2 by actually 5 of the first 7 possessions resulted in touchdowns.
They're looking at the left knee. He has a knee brace on it, and they're taking the knee brace off. Can't quite get a number yet.
The football is going to be at the 23-yard line, so a loss of 5 on the quarterback sack. It'll be 2nd and 15. I'll remind you that our sponsors, our lineup of sponsors, includes Fleetwood Promotions. Anything you can put a logo on, you can get it from Fleetwood Promotions, offering creative marketing and fundraising ideas for your business, club, or organization. Call Kim at 698-2013, 698-2013. She can take care of everything from ink pens, mugs, hats, shirts, nice apparel, to any promotional items, any apparel item. And that is Jace Brewer, a junior.
And he has that knee brace on. He's walking with a pretty good sized limp. Dr. Wilson out there with him. He's starter at the defensive tackle position, a junior, sporting the mohawk. Hopefully he'll be all right.
He had a brother that played a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ethan?
No, I don't think he's related. It might be a cousin. Never thought about the last name, but neither Ethan nor Adam Brewer, who was a really good quarterback for 3 years.
We got 2 kids with the same last name on the team this year. Curtis Cox and Braxton Cox. They are not related. Sounded like Forrest Gump there. No, we are not related. Out of the shotgun, Martindale. Here we go. 2nd down and 15. Fake the handoff. Throws over the middle. Caught at the 34, short of a first down. Hopkins again with the catch, and he hit right in the seam of that coverage. And a nice throw from Martindale right on the money.
Big night for Hopkins.
Going to be 3rd and 6. Let's get the football out to the 34.
113 yards already for the senior.
Clock is moving. We're down to 5:20. Thought these football games might be a little quicker this year, but still about the same. A lot of points, especially in that first quarter. Martindale, 3rd and 6. In trouble. Tucks it and is sacked.
There we go. That's what we need to get some pressure on. We can't stand back there.
Loss of 7 back to the 27-yard line. So 4th and long, and most likely Eastern will kick it away this time with about a 4th and 11. What they're looking at here at deeper in their own territory around the 26, 27-yard line.
That looked like Jace Herndon and Dylan Morris. So this will be the first punt by either team tonight.
So Zane Hayden will go back close to midfield or beyond. Mitch Eberhard will be one of the up guys. And looks like Martindale's going to be the punter.
You have to watch out for him running the ball.
He's going to kick it. It's a low line drive kick, and Hayden lets it bounce to the far side of the field. It goes out of bounds, short of the 25-yard line. So a nice kick the way it ends up for Martindale.
And you don't want to give the Hayden any kind of chances in the open field.
So the football is going to rest around the 25-yard line of Linton. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 25, 4:15 left in the first half, and the Miners on top 30-12. Miners led at 22-12 at the end of one. Eastern was just a converted 2-point try from tying the football game up, though, at 14 apiece.
Yeah, their offense has really looked good other than the fumble. They've scored every time they've had the ball.
Out of the shotgun. Rupska bobbles the snap. Now he takes it right up the middle himself, breaks a tackle to the 30, gets out to the 35, and finally wrestled down at the 36. So he's going to pick up close to a first down. If not a first down, it is going to be a first down run.
Well, the biggest thing I could tell Eastern if I was their coaches, they're trying to tackle the ball high. Price and Stewart both made the tackle, all trying to go for the ball. And you're not going to overpower Dane
It's amazing
Rupska.
how football games develop kind of lives of their own. Eastern's found success passing, and now the Miners are finding success running with Rupska, but he hands the football off to Hayden on this play. Hayden out across the 40, out to the 44-yard line, so he's going to get a nice run on that carry over to the far side, tried the right side of the Linton line.
Hayden now with 37 yards rushing. Rupska has 26, but he had to swallow about a 10-yard loss on a high snap.
Out to the 43-yard line, 2nd and 3. Rupska rolls to the near side, wants to throw, throws short over the
nice
middle,
catch.
caught,
Face mask.
and a first down to Eberhardt at the 45-yard line of Eastern Greene.
Nice little field pass to Eberhardt. Really, the Eastern defender looked like he had a shot at it, but Eberhardt made a great effort.
We haven't seen Rupska really have to wing the ball way downfield, but he's been pretty good at the short to medium pass.
Yeah, but the best one was that one to Eaton, a 28-yarder earlier.
Again, a double wing formation out of the shotgun. And there's a
they
fumble
got
on
it.
a snap to Hale, and Eastern falls on the football. Another
fumbles.
turnover as Rupska tried to hand the football off to Austin Hale, the sophomore, and Austin is slapping himself on the helmet as if to say he's the guy that made the mistake. So a fumble again by Hale.
And the only thing hurting the Miners now offensively is themselves. That's 2 fumbles. And last time we fumbled, they turned right around a quick strike on us.
They're at the 46-yard line, their own 46, Eastern Greene, 3:05 left before halftime. And on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, Linton 30, Eastern Greene 12. Eastern moving from left to right. A handoff is to the fullback, and he goes nowhere. That was Tyler Dodds.
He ran right into Cody Van Winkle, number 50. Cody wore 45 last year. This year a starter on the O-line, and he made a nice hit on Dobbs.
He did not play in the scrimmage last week.
Yeah, he didn't have enough practices in. There were a couple guys didn't have enough practices.
2nd and 10 for Eastern. Clock continues to move down to 2:40. Eastern and Linton both have a couple timeouts left.
I'm just surprised Eastern doesn't go to the air about every play. That's about the only success they've had.
4 receivers, 2 to each side. Martindale fakes the handoff to Postel, and he is hit in the backfield,
gosh.
gets away, and now the officials have whistled to play dead.
Down.
And Luke Dean is aggravated at the officials. I don't blame him. That was a pretty quick whistle.
Sure was. We didn't. Rupska didn't get the whistle when he kind of was held there for a while.
But the whistle blew, and a lot of times they'll call it an inadvertent whistle, and maybe that was the case. But as Martindale was able to get out of trouble, the whistle blew the play dead.
Coach is talking about they may play it over, but it looks like they marked him back at the 40, and that would be Zach Rydell. He got away with the first tackler, and Miners have got to wrap up a little bit.
It's going to be a loss of 6 on the play.
Boy, that was I bet there won't be a quick whistle the rest of the game now, Keith.
The official is trying to explain to Coach Dean, and Coach Dean's not having any of it. Sometimes they make a mistake. Just if the official would just say, "Hey, Coach, I blew one."
And it looked, for all purposes, Martindale was going down. Maybe he thought his knee hit the ground.
You see the same thing happen in basketball where a referee will anticipate a travel or anticipate a foul, and the whistle will come a little bit quickly, and that's what's happening. Eastern Greene has called a timeout here with 3rd and 16, and it also gives Coach Dean an opportunity to jaw a little bit more at the official, almost like a pitching coach or a manager that comes out to the mound and he's not getting the strike calls he wants, and he'll stay out there until the home plate umpire comes out to the mound to break up the conference. And that's almost like what Coach Dean, I'm sure he wants to
he's waiting.
have time to get a good play in here, but but also it gave him an opportunity to get another little jab in.
While I got a chance, Keith, enjoyed listening to you all season long basketball-wise. That had to be a thrill to be down there at that state final contest.
Well, it was a great ride. And we'll have Darren Clayton up at halftime. Darren, it was, I'm sure, a thrill for Darren to
it had to be
a part of that as well. Former coach of the Miners, and boy, what a run. It was kind of like the football run as well. It was a really great year.
Tremendous heck of a class that year.
Tremendous year last year for Linton High School sports. Here we go, 3rd and 16 over center. Martindale now back to pass. Oh, it's blocked right into the hands of the Miners, Zach Rydell, and there's a whistle.
You got to be kidding.
Where's the whistle? That pass was blocked right into the hands of Zach Rydell, who was taking it down to the end zone, down to our left, and a whistle blew.
How in the world do you blow that whistle, though?
Is the official going to say that the ball hit the ground and then bounced right up into Rydell? It didn't look like it.
It wasn't 4th down, so they're calling it a turnover. Boy, I'm completely confused on that.
How is that not a play that Rydell cannot run to the end zone? He was going to get a touchdown on that.
Yeah, that was knocked down by number 44, Rupska.
It right into the hands of Rydell, and he took off to the end zone and was going to score, but for whatever reason, the referees blew a whistle.
So he'll get the interception, but the ball's that's an interesting. Eastern got the better in that run.
Well, we're at the 30-yard line of Eastern Greene. Rupska out of the shotgun, throws to the far side. It is bobbled and dropped by Eberhard at the 30. 2nd and 10 coming up. Well, it's the first game for the referees, too. They've made a couple of mistakes here, blowing the whistle too soon. I'd like to get an explanation of that.
That one was a strange, but that looked like a clean block by Rupska right into the hands of Rydell. It looked like he was gone.
Make a mental note of that, Big D, to ask Coach Ollie when he gets up after the ball game what the explanation was for that. There's a handoff to Hayden, and Hayden gets hit. Oh, he stays on his feet. He's running backwards, and now he's going to be dropped for a 4-yard loss back to the 34. Hayden broke free of one tackle, stayed on his feet, then kept going the wrong way, tried to move upfield, and winds up losing just 4 yards.
It looked like almost if he'd just went back to his right, he had more red jerseys. Almost made a great play, but
we're down close to 1 minute, actually a minute 10.
Getting a little crazy out here now.
And the clock is stopped.
We got some sort of a timeout because I see Eastern out, coaches out in the field.
Apparently the Miners have asked for a timeout. And so 1:10 left to play in the first half. 30-12 on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. Linton leading here at home over Eastern Greene, opening night of the 2013 high school football season. We got some schools tonight that are playing at Lucas Oil Stadium, and that's where the Miners will play in a few weeks on Saturday, September 14th. They'll play a late game up there against West Vigo. I think the starting time of that game is around 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, yeah. We'll be up there Saturday night.
Whoa, we'll be
Had
up
a great
there
experience last year.
Yeah. Huge turnout of Miner fans. I'm sure that's the biggest reason why the Miners got invited back. It kind of comes down to the money sometimes, and the Miners really turned out in huge numbers, beating North Central up there last year. So the promoters of that particular event wanted to invite the Miners back. Snap to the shotgun. Rupska looks downfield. He throws it out there too strong for Paul Goodman. And incomplete. And it'll be 4th down.
Defend on the play by 20. That looks like number 3, Joel Smith.
Well, nothing against any of the Miner receivers, but the receiving core is going to get a real boost next week when Grant Stom returns.
They sure are. I think your receiving core and your defensive back core, if he's playing the defensive side, that'll be a big plus. A 2-year starter for the Miners coming back.
I'll lament just a bit and say that it's a little bit odd not seeing Cole Bradbury split out wide.
Yeah, sure is.
4th down, Miners go for it. Rupska rolls to the near side, throws short and incomplete. At the 20, it would have been well short of a 1st down, and again, Goodman was the intended target. Still about a minute left in the first half, so Eastern has a little bit of time. I don't think they have any more timeouts.
Well, that was by far the most discombobulated series the Miners have had. They've looked good the whole game, but that one was a little strange.
Eastern will take over at their own 35. trailing Linton 30-12. And we've seen Martindale be able to throw the football pretty effectively, get his team down the field in a hurry. They'll be in a hurry-up offense here.
They've been able to move the ball.
4 receivers, 2 to each side. Postell is in the backfield with Martindale of the shotgun. He'll roll to the far side, in some trouble, throws it down the middle, and it's nearly intercepted. And that was kind of a no-look pass, and the only thing close were about 4 red jerseys that was almost intercepted.
Zane Hayden about had that one in his grasp. There really wasn't a white jersey in there. Ian Johnson, number 60, was applying the pressure. Zach Johnson, I should say.
2nd and 10. Hurry up here for Eastern. Martindale out of the shotgun. Throws one deep down the sideline, and it is broken up. It is intercepted.
Oh, what a play.
What an interception out there by Eberhardt.
Wow. That was
what a
pretty.
catch by Mitch Eberhardt. Intercepted the pass. 2nd interception thrown by Martindale.
And you can't fault that defense. He didn't put his hand in a face mask. He was turned towards the ball. They always say to do that, not to look at the receiver. Actually physically just pulled that ball in, and Hopkins didn't get it down.
They had that guy open there for a moment. 26 or 27-yard line is where the Miners will have it. Their own 27 with 45 seconds left in the first half, and Rupska out of the shotgun, going to hand the ball to Hale up the middle. He keeps his feet moving out across the 35 to the 36.
Looks like Ham, number 70, might be the guy on the tackle.
2nd and short coming up. 2nd and 1. Again, Rupska in a hurry-up offense, rolls to the near side, throws it short, and it's caught at the 40 by Eaton, and he put his hand down, so that stops the play. 17 seconds left.
Now that time you could see it. Nice grab by Bo Eaton there. Fingertip catch.
Putting the hand down was the same thing as putting the knee down, apparently.
Oh, is it really?
I guess, because his knee didn't go down. It was his hand that went down.
Gonna say that's how Eberhardt broke a couple tackles.
Unless the official thought that the knee went down. But apparently the Miners did have a timeout remaining, so they've called it with 17 seconds left. 30-12 is our score on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. I'm Keith Dodes along with Dan Phillips. We'll have Darren Clayton up with the stats at halftime. And we want to invite you to stick around after the game, each game, for the Bender Lumber post-game show. We'll have Coach Oliver up in the press box after each game, just as we did Coach Weber. And we want to wish Coach Weber and Coach Hayden luck with Bedford North Lawrence as they kick off a new chapter of their coaching careers.
Bloomington South. That's who they face tonight. That ought to be a big difference for the two 5A schools going at it. The environment's a lot different than 1A.
Well, we've got 4 receivers, 2 to each side. Rupska, a lot of pressure. Dodges one tackle, is hit from behind, and
they got a flag.
I've got a flag out there, and Rupska's still down.
I don't know if they're going to call
roughing the passer. It's a penalty against the Miners.
I don't know why unless they thought it was intentional grounding. Rupska, I believe, got the air knocked out of him.
Looked like he was hit from behind, and that's why the pass went laterally.
Yeah, I don't know what he immediately signaled what it was, but I don't know. Yeah, when a guy gets hit in the back, the ball's going to go flying somewhere.
11 seconds left. Still haven't seen exactly what the indication is. Rupka's going to come out of the game.
Boy, I tell you what.
Looks to be okay. Yep, that's intentional grounding is what was called. It looked to me, Dan, like he was hit from behind as he was throwing the football.
I don't know how you call that if a guy takes a hit like that.
I think the one official still trying to make up for the inadvertent whistle.
Well, that ball's all the way back to the 23.
They made the mistake with Eastern Greene. Here's Bo Eaton now back to throw. He's going to fire one down the field, and it is intercepted by Eastern at midfield.
Price.
And they run him out of bounds inside the 40.
Well, they've got 2 seconds left.
That was 32. Yeah, Brent Price. For a moment, I thought it was 22, and that's Postell. But Price is the kid that intercepted, and Bo Eaton got intercepted. So that's the 5th turnover of the first half, 3 against Linton.
Yeah, wouldn't it be something if they were able to put the ball on the end zone and from this right on the last play. Remember last year the Miners scored on a hook and ladder on the final play.
Last play of the first half. Martindale over center, backs in the eye. He goes back, throws one, and it is incomplete.
Crushing hit by Eaton.
Hopkins went up in the air, bobbled the football, and he is still down on his back at the 34-yard line. So a tough way for Hopkins to end the first half. And on the Graber Post Building scoreboard here at Roy Williams Field in Linton, week 1 of the high school football season at halftime, it's Linton 30, Eastern Greene 12. The Miners picking up 14 first quarter points, 16 in the second, and they lead their inter-county rivals 30-12 at the intermission. We'll come back after a 2-minute timeout. Miner football on Y93 and WQTYradio.com is produced again this season by Media 5 Sports. 2 minutes, please.
Don't blink.
Well, we're back at Roy Williams Field in Linton. I want to correct myself. I think I said the Miners had 14 first quarter points and 16 the second. They actually had 22 first quarter points. It was 22-12 at the end of one, and only one touchdown scored by either team in that second quarter that was put up by the Miners. It's 30-12 Linton, and we're joined by Darren Clayton with a look at the stats here at halftime.
Yeah, Darren, that was a quite a nutty first quarter. I don't think a lot of Miner fans or anybody expect to see the kind of points. Offense looked great until we ran into a little bit of trouble. Running game taking 4, and of course Ripska's looked pretty good passing the ball. What kind of numbers are we looking at?
Yeah, for the Miners on offense, 140 yards on the ground mixed up amongst 5 backs. Leading the way with 53 yards is Austin Hale on 8 carries. Zane Hayden with 31 yards on 5 carries. Mitch Eberhardt 30 yards on 4 carries, and Dane Rupska has 28 on 8, so a pretty good mixture in there on the running backs. Through the air, Rupska 5 out of 9 for 62 yards. A couple of other guys, Eaton and Trent, have both thrown a pass 0 for 2, so the Miners 5 out of 11, 60 yards, or 62 yards rather, through the air for 202 total.
And the Miner defense came out looking very strong, kind of shut everything down for Eastern. Then all of a sudden, I think they kind of found our Achilles heel and were able to hit some deep passes, and that probably has to be the chief concern. It looked like at the end of the quarter we were able to start getting pressure on Martindale. But the Martindale kid is the real deal, can run and pass.
Yeah, he absolutely. He's thrown the ball well when he's had time, and they hurt us there in the first quarter with the passing game. Fortunately, we've been able to keep him from converting on 5 of his last 6. So, the defense has picked it up on the passing game, and like you said, maybe we're getting a little more pressure on him, making it tougher for him to find those receivers downfield. But nonetheless, he's got 151 yards passing at halftime, and we don't see that against the Miner defense very often.
But the running attack for Eastern has really been shut down, other than a couple bounce-out runs by Postel.
Yeah, overall, after a couple of negative plays there, I've got them all the way down to -1 here at the half. So, the Miner defense against the run has been solid. So 150 yards total for Eastern at the half, and most of that came in the first quarter.
And 61 of it came, I believe, on one pass play. Of course, you're the stat guru, Darren. I got to ask you about the whistle situation down here. Now, we are on this side on the play prior. Certainly the Eastern quarterback did not look like he was down. But what explanation did you guys get on the interception? Because that looked like a perfect tip drill to me.
Well, the referee on our sideline assured Coach Oliver that he wasn't the one that blew the whistle, because Coach Ollie was on him pretty good about trying to get the clock stopped on the other play, and I'm not sure if there's an inadvertent whistle. I'm not sure, those guys would know more about that rule than I would, but he was wanting the clock stopped, and they ran about 30 seconds off the clock on that first play. And then the second play, I don't know what happened on that. I mean, I don't know whether somebody just got excited because a big play happened in front of them, but there was no way that whistle should have blown.
Well, Rydell looked like he was on his way for 6, and Rupska with a nice block there. Other than that, Miners health-wise, I know we saw Jace Brewer go off looking like he had a knee problem. Hopefully nothing serious there.
Yeah, they were still working on him on the sideline there, and I didn't get a chance to get back and find out anything on him, but hopefully he'll be all right and be able to come back. Big part of the line on both sides of the ball for us.
The heat so far tonight, has that had an effect?
Maybe a little bit. Dane's had to take some breaks, which I think we knew coming in that was going to be the case with him playing both middle linebacker and quarterback, that there were going to be times where he had to take a few plays off. But overall, I think the kids are handling it well. They've gotten good water breaks in for them, and I think it's been all right.
Well, we'll see what halftime. That was always a big plus for the Miners coming out after halftime, making adjustments. And first game, have you noticed explain how different it feels to you on the sideline, or does it feel much the same?
It feels pretty much the same. I mean, it's a lot of the same cast of characters on the coaching side, and familiar with all those guys over there, and maybe a few different voices here and there yelling out things, but overall it's a pretty similar dynamic, and things have gone pretty well so far.
Well, I appreciate you coming up, Keith, and of course we'll be at catch you after the contest. Hopefully we can get through it was good the first half. Second half we had so far offensively.
Yep, thanks, Dan.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're at halftime, Roy Williams Field, and on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, it's Linton 30, Eastern Greene 12. We'll come back after a 2-minute timeout. This is a Media 5 sports production. go ahead and take another timeout. We'll be back after this timeout. Linton leading 30-12 at halftime over Eastern Greene.
Tonight's minor field goal challenge is sponsored by JP's Fishing More. Tonight's contestant for tenderloins per year is Linda Gerald. Ticket for Linda is Paul Oliver. Well, just for playing tonight, you receive a complimentary tenderloin meal from JP's Fishing More, where they have the best tenderloin in the universe. And of course, you can score extra points with your friends and family by taking them to JP's Fishing More.
Second, so it was a conventional 14-0 lead at that point, but Eastern Greene would not go away. They got a 61-yard touchdown strike from Briar Martindale to Cody Hopkins. Their extra point was no good. After a Linton fumble, Eastern Greene scored again on a 15-yard pass play from Martindale to Keith Ringer. Their two-point conversion failed. It was 14-12 at that point. But the Miners were able to strike again, got another 2-point conversion, led 22-12 at the end of one. And the only touchdown scored in the second quarter of the football game was, again, a Dane Rupska 1-yard quarterback sneak. 2-point run by Zane Hayden made the score 30-12. And that's where we are at the intermission, 30-12, Linton over Eastern Greene. We'll be back after this timeout. Linton football on Y93 and WQTYradio.com is produced by Media 5 Sports.
Go, Big John!
Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. No. Can you enable this? Can you enable this again? Okay, so we're on. Okay. Trying to call you, Rebecca. Yeah, she's not answering. If you can bring it back to, if you can hear me, Rebecca, bring it back after this commercial if you can hear me, please. Bring it back after this commercial if you can hear me. Check, 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 check. Okay, well, we've had the kickoff for the second half, and Eastern Greene will take over 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. T-Birds come out trailing 30-12. They have 2 receivers split wide to the far side. Martindale is in the shotgun. He takes the football. He's going to run with it. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and brought down around the 16-yard line. So going to lose yardage on the first play from scrimmage here in the third quarter.
Yeah, they're going to the pistol formation. They haven't ran it the whole first half. Dylan Morris made a nice play on the quarterback who kept it. Miner fans will remember this was the offense that Cunningham ran for the Miners for about 2 or 3 successful years.
Second down and 15, we'll call it. Martindale's going to fake the handoff. He rolls to the near side. He gets out across the 15 and is brought down at the 20. So he's going to pick up about 3 on the keeper.
Yeah, he just kept it and came out to his left, and Paul Goodman got sucked inside. Fortunately, the speed of Van Winkle, he was able to get out there and keep a big gainer from happening.
Stayed inbound, so the clock continues to run. 10:50 left in the first quarter. Martindale comes over to the sideline to get the play.
Did see Jace Brewer on the sideline in with these pads off, so he's done for the night, but he's not on crutches and doesn't even have ice on his knee, so that's a good sign.
Third down, about 12 for Eastern. Martindale out of the shotgun. Fakes. Now he runs right up the middle, has a hole. He's out to the 30 and is knocked out of bounds right at the marker. We'll see if he picks up that first down. Nice scramble there by Martindale.
That's exactly what Cunningham used to do for the Miners. Just sit back here and then run. And it's going to be awfully, awfully close. They're going to give it to him.
First down at the 32-yard line for Eastern Greene.
12-yard gain. That was a big play, Keith, for Eastern. They'd had to go 3 and out right off the bat. Would have been trouble.
First down, Eastern Greene at their own 32-yard line, moving from left to right. They've got 4 receivers split, 2 to each side. Martindale out of the shotgun. He's going to give the ball to Postel. He moves laterally over to the far side, turns and gets across the 30, and may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. So very little gain, if any.
Nice
bring
play.
up 2nd and 10.
Trent Val is out there, 43. I see, and the inside backer is Jace Herndon, number 41. So I think we're going to see Rupska taking more of a breather on the defensive side of things. Actually lost a yard on that play, Keith.
So the football, they actually spot it back at the 31, and Dan, you are correct. It's going to be 2nd and 11. Just into the third quarter, about 9:40. And we've got a whistle and maybe a delay of game here. Yep, delay of game against Eastern. That's going to push the football back to the 26-yard line. So that's going to make it 2nd and 16.
That's just the second penalty of the night, so despite the first week with few penalties in the contest. Trying to get a look out there to see who we have. We have Goodman and Val at the outside backers, Van Winkle and Herndon at inside linebacker. I see Eberhardt and Eaton at cornerback. Hayden is the safety. Franklin, Rydell, Morris, and I can't see quite the other number up front.
So 2nd and 16 for Eastern. Martindale throws it across the middle, nearly intercepted. That time Hayden was the guy that had the best shot. Postel was the intended receiver at the 35, but
I just love the
Hayden came in ready to pop Postel to keep him from picking up any yards after the catch. And actually, if Zane focused on the football, it would have possibly been an interception.
He was thinking if
Postel
caught it, he was going to jar the ball loose. You know, you got to be careful this year, too. They're calling those penalties for hits like that, and he let up at the end, but still they might have threw the flag. Another big 3rd down play.
Martindale back to throw, fakes, now throws it across the middle, and incomplete. Again, nearly intercepted at the 40 by Val. So Eastern Greene will punt the football away.
That was Val 43. A much better effort by the Miner defensive backs on that series other than the one completion. Another with no completions.
This just what, their 2nd punt, or is this their 3rd punt?
Second punt. Yeah, they punted right before the half.
And Martindale kicked the first one. He's going to kick this one as Austin Hale, one of the up guys. Hayden is back deep to receive. Bad snap, but Martindale gets it away. A low kick.
Nice bounce.
Hayden is going to let it roll wisely. Smart. And it's going to stop at the 34-yard line. That's where the Miners will take over their own 34.
Yeah, that was the smartness of a Singer. He wanted to grab that ball and stayed away from it.
9:15 left in the 3rd quarter on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. 30-12, Linton. Don't forget, choose your class ring at Francis Jewel Box in downtown Linton, your hometown jeweler, offering the best prices, service, and selection. Talk to Kathy Matthews about the deals that she has for your class ring. Miners have it. 1st down, Rupska. Going to hand the football off to Hale up the middle. He's got a big hole and gets out to the 49-yard line, picks up 15 yards.
He runs the ball hard, and he's not physically a big kid. He's 5'9", 170, not a traditional fullback, but boy, he hits the hole fast. Like you said, he's quick.
Right about midfield at the 49. Miners have the football for the first time here in the 3rd quarter, leading 30-12. We're under 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Double wing formation. And a bad snap, and Rupska is going to pick it up and try to make something out of this. He does get something positive out of it. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I was waiting for the whistle to blow that time, but they didn't do it. Ham's going to make the tackle, but he broke about 4 tackles in process. We've seen some ball handling problems for the Miners tonight.
2nd and 10. Miners wearing their home red tops and red bottoms. They're moving from right to left. 2nd and 10. Double wing formation in motion to the near side, but Rupska's going to go right up the middle with it. Quarterback keeper, and he just keeps his legs moving. He gets across the 50 and down to the 45 of Eastern.
Yeah, they look like they had him stopped. 2 or 3 Eastern white shirts had him, and he still was able to roll forward for a good gain and set up a decent 3rd down situation.
Picks up 6, so it's going to be 3rd and doable.
We still don't huddle, though. I thought we might huddle this year.
I did, too. Play right in front of us now in Eastern territory. 3rd down. Rupska, again, he looks. He's going to go right up the middle, keeps his feet moving. Poole takes the pile with him down to the 40. He should have a 1st down.
Yeah, he got that all on his own. Right up the middle. 63, looks like the tackler, Cameron Fry, along with the other host of them. But, gosh, he just pushed forward, got to the 40, and a Miner 1st down.
By the way, there's some really good Bob's Pizza over there. Oh, is it gone?
It's gone. There's none left.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry.
Don't blame me, though.
There we go. 1st and 10. Linton at the Eastern 40. Rupska back to pass. He's hit as he throws it, but it's caught at the 40-yard line out there. And a gain of about 4 or 5 as Eberhardt picked that up. That really wasn't any different than the same play that was called intentional grounding.
Yeah, had he been hit, Price is going to be on the tackle. He got that ball out in the flat, and a decent 5-yard gain.
Down to the 35 of Eastern Greene. So 2nd and 5 for Linton, already leading 30-12. We're about halfway through the third quarter. It's been a much quicker third period. Here's Rupska. He's going to
there's a double handoff.
Yeah, the counter play, and Eberhardt has a lot of room to
Hayden.
run. Breaks a tackle, and he is going to get in the end zone.
That's Hayden, number 26.
Touchdown Miners. Thanks for the correction.
It's hard to tell them apart. I'm with you. That 26 and 21, both of them fast, both of them powerful. That's the old double handoff. Now, I know there's different names for it, the counter, reverse counter. And you get a flow. Everybody comes to one side, then a handoff the last second. I've seen it for so many years here at Linton, and it's always been a good play. And that's 35 yards for Zane. That's 67 now yards for him total on the night. Miner offense rushing 201 yards now.
Hayden's first touchdown of the night. And it gives Linton a 36-12 advantage. And again, the Miners will go for 2. Over center is Rupska. He hands the ball to Hale, and Austin fumbles the football, and it's not going to get in. And on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 6:12 left in the third quarter. It's Linton 36, Eastern 12 back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Eastern had closed at one point, Dan, in this football game 14-12, and it looked like it was going to be a contest, but the Miners slowly, gradually pulling away.
It's been the blueprint, really, for every Linton Easter game of the last several years. Is Eastern's right there, and they're just a couple of plays. We had a couple fourth downs down there, Eastern. Had they converted, they'd be right in the game. They've not shown the ability to stop the Miners at all on the defensive side of things.
Miners will kick off from right to left. Going to be Paul Goodman. Nice high end over end kick. Well, it'll bounce and picked up at the 16. Bobbled again as they're not going to go anywhere. Dominic Lucas able to get maybe a couple of yards. He is stopped at the 16-yard line, so Eastern's not going to have very good field position, and they're down 36-12.
Herndon and Figley were both down quickly, along with 31. That's Avery Gentry for the Miners.
Well, let's see where the officials are actually going to spot the football. They get a good spot out of it, about the 18-yard line. So Eastern will have it.
44-yard kick by Goodman. He's done a nice job kicking the ball tonight.
Miners next week will host Sullivan. Will be on the air at 6:30. Eastern Greene will play at home against North Knox. That's a conference game, I guess.
Yeah.
Both those teams are still in the conference.
Yeah.
The Southwest Conference now, no longer the Southwest 7. There are just 5 teams left in the conference. Out of the shotgun, bad snap, and Martindale's able to fall on it, but they're going to lose 3 or 4 yards. Second down coming up.
A whole lot of Miners down there on him. Even if he'd have caught the ball, he probably would have taken a loss there.
That's for the mouse. Well, no, but whenever I have a mouse, that's what it's for. Clock is moving down to 5:35. I left the mouse at home. He's in his cage.
There's Miners, no mice.
Back to pass Martindale. He's going to throw one deep down the near sideline, and it's incomplete. Just ran out of room. Put a little bit too much air underneath that one. Keith Ringer, the intended receiver, close to midfield.
That was intended for number 9,
Ringer.
and number 9 for the Miners. Cox was there on the defense that time. Didn't bite. Ball was a little overthrown, but that's about the only place Martindale could put it.
3rd and 14 coming up for Eastern Greene, trailing Linton 36-12. Next week be a really interesting matchup.
It will be, because Sullivan's strength is going to be they have some big, tall receivers. They graduated their quarterback, but they'll be looking to pass the ball, I'm sure, watching tonight. That's what they're thinking.
Miners looking like they want to blitz. They're coming after Martindale. He gets away from trouble, throws it short over the middle, incomplete, off the
Late hit on the
fingertips
Miners.
of Dodds. And there is a flag in the backfield. Probably a roughing the passer coming up. This will give Eastern Greene a first down.
Sure will. They'd be punting the ball right now. Zach Rydell got there just a bit late.
Well, we've had almost as many inadvertent whistles as we've had flags.
Yeah. That was a big one there. They were fixing to turn the ball over, kick the ball deep.
It's a minor football team last year, Dan, that didn't get penalized much, but when we did get penalized, it seemed like they were big penalties.
They were always down in the red zone whenever they didn't want an illegal procedure. So that's going to give them a fresh set of downs all the way out to the 29-yard line.
So first down, Eastern. Well, the thing about this Eastern team, though, against most of the clubs they play, they're going to be able to score some points.
I think so, yeah. Uh-oh.
4 receivers. Here's Martindale back to throw. That's knocked down.
Pressure from Jace Herndon. Rydell about got that one. That was almost a tip play again.
Yeah, Rydell got his hand on it. He's a big kid. It'll be 2nd and 10. Big crowd here on opening night here at Linton. Always have a big crowd.
Yeah, it's good to see the full stands of people standing on the side and south end zone. A lot of people interested in this edition of the Miners.
2 receivers to each side. Martindale again stays in that shotgun. He hasn't been over center much. Fakes the handoff, throws over the middle. It's bobbled and dropped. That would have been a first down. And again, that's Ringer. He's a freshman.
Yeah, he should have had that one. That one was a little behind him. But
I'm sorry, Ringer's a senior.
Oh, good play though.
He's a senior, but he had it. Just couldn't gather it in. It was well thrown by Martindale, so it's 3rd and 10.
And again, Curtis Cox came up and put the hit on him. It kept him from at least pulling it in all the way. Cox is another one of those guys, a senior, I believe, 5'9", 150. Has not seen a lot of varsity time. Getting his opportunity this year.
Only Postell is in the backfield with Martindale. He fakes the handoff. He's in trouble. Gets away, throws it down the field, and it is caught and dropped. That would have been a first down as well. And again, that was Ringer. Or is that Hopkins?
It looks like 7. Boy, I can hardly see those back of those jerseys.
Yeah, it was Hopkins. Hopkins is 7. Ringer is 9.
And I'm pretty sure that was Hayden that came up and put the stick on him that, again, kept him from pulling it in. But that's 2 passes that looks to me like should have been completions for the Eastern team. It looks like they are going to punt the ball away.
Hayden goes back deep for the Miners. Hale and Bo Eaton are the up receivers. So the Miners will have 8 guys to rush. Martindale cleanly gets this football away. And the Miners back away. Now they pick it up. Eaton picks it up at the 40-yard line, gets to midfield, and stays on his feet to the 46. And that's where the Miners will take over at the Eastern Greene 46-yard line. After the punt by Martindale, and on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 4:46 left in the 3rd quarter. Linton leading Eastern Greene 36-12. 36-12, I'm sorry. 36-12, and the Miners will have it with good field position.
He was going to let that one lay, but it bounced right up into his hands, and he made a nice hard-nosed return. You know, Bo last year had to see some action when Bradbury was down, and really contributed a lot of nice catches.
Double wing set offensively with, again, Rupska in the shotgun, right up the middle to the fullback, Austin Hale, and he's got yardage across the 40 down to the 38. So he's going to pick up around 8 yards, 2nd and 2 coming up. And one thing we've noticed about Hale last year, he was a strong runner, and he really hits that hole quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, he puts his shoulders down, and he's made positive yards. Other than a fumble problem tonight, he's got 76 yards on 10 carries.
2nd and 3 for the Miners. Moving from right to left. 4:15 left in the third quarter. Rupska back to throw. Throws short to the far side. It's caught and out of bounds. And that was Trent Vowell with the reception. He's close to a first down. Looks like he's going to be short by a yard.
We haven't had a tight end in the Linton offense in many years.
Well, actually, they only give him 2 yards on the reception, so it's going to be 3rd and about 2.
That's 68 total yards in the air for the Miners. As long as you can get the threat of passing going on, it really helps out your running game.
Right up the middle goes Rupska. He's got a first down to the 30, stays on his feet. Still moving. There's a flag on the play down to the 20, and that may have been a face mask.
Why would the flag come where it's thrown way late? That was 6 Eastern guys dragging Rupska down.
About the only thing that could be with all the Eastern Greene defenders around Rupska would be a face mask, and it is going to go against Eastern. Rupska had a first down to begin with on the run all the way down to the 21-yard line, and the penalty is going to tack on probably another 10 or 12.
He fired that flag from way back, about 10 yards behind where Rupska was at.
He's working on it.
Just a 5-yard variety.
Folks back at the station, we've got engineering here working on it. So
Rupska now 52 yards on 12 carries. The Miner rushing tonight, 33 carries, 223 yards, 6.8 per carry.
Handoff from Bo Eaton goes to Austin Hale. There's another flag on the play, short gain. And the penalty is going to go against the Miners. We got a holding call
against the Miners.
About 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter, 36-12, Linton. So after we had a real shootout in the first quarter where the score was 22-12, scoring has certainly been limited the last almost 2 quarters. And the Miners out of the shotgun. Rupska from the 26 throws it across the middle to Eaton, and in and out of his hands, incomplete.
I think Bo was thinking about the hit that he was getting ready to take from the safety and let that one come through his hands.
It's just kind of an enigma seeing that, because it's not something that we've seen for a good long time where those kinds of throws are being dropped. And again, Grant Stom really kind of came out for the team late. He doesn't have enough practices in. He was arguably the Miners' best receiver last year. There's Rupska going to keep the football and go right up the middle himself, and he drags defenders with him across the 20 and down to the 18-yard line.
Well, in fact, Stom was the leading receiver in catches and yards last year, and really only needs not a whole lot of yards to take over Bradbury as the all-time Miner receiving king.
So we're still at about 3rd and 12 after the penalty. Miners with a good-sized lead. Rupska rolls to the far side. A little short pass is caught, staying in bounds, and a nice job.
Eberhardt, I believe.
Mitch Eberhardt, 21, yes, with the catch. And it's going to be 4th down, but 4th and short.
And he broke a tackle to get down there. 7-yard line, they're saying, Keith.
Fourth down and short from the 7. Rupska's going to keep the football. He is hitting the backfield, and he's brought down. Nice play there by Eastern Greene.
Dominic Lewis came up and made the tackle, and instead of going up the gut that time, Rupska tried to go around the outside, and he looks beat out there, Keith. The heat and the amount of work he's having to do. Big play for Eastern.
Well, we've got a 1st and goal here now for the Miners.
No, they got the ball.
Oh, that's right. Here we go. 1st down, Eastern Greene from the 7-yard line. What, we got out to the 9.
Yeah, I could hardly see what happened there.
10-yard line.
Just an inside handoff that was pretty well stuffed.
From the 7-yard line, 2nd down, Eastern. There's a quick pass to the near side, and it's going to go nowhere.
I know.
And there's going to be a flag on the play, probably against the Miners. Couldn't be a late hit.
Okay, he hit.
Couldn't be a late hit.
Well, they may call the leading with the head tackle. That's like what they're doing. Boy, they're going to be. Yep, that's what they're calling. I think that's what that is. Boy, oh boy, that's a
tough one.
That's a bit of a touchy call. I know they're going to be watching that this year, but he erases a nice play by Trent Vowell.
So the 15-yard penalty puts the football out to the 21-yard line, maybe the 22. Just under a minute left to play in the 3rd quarter. Martindale over center this time, one of the rare times we've seen him not in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff. He's in trouble, rolls to the far side, throws it out, and incomplete. Nearly caught actually by a couple of different receivers, Smith and Hopkins, both in the area. I think it touched the hands of both of those kids for Eastern Greene.
He got pressure from Rydell, who nearly got to him. Darren was right. Since that that one stretch where he hit a lot of passes in a row, we really haven't. We've done a pretty good job on him, getting some pressure on him, and that's what we didn't see early.
30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 10 for Eastern Greene. Backs are in the eye. Martindale over center. Going to throw it long down the near sideline, and it is nearly caught. It would have been out of bounds. A really nice effort by Ringer. It drops incomplete, and Bo Eaton was right there.
Yeah, Bo did a nice job. That ball was well thrown. A nice effort by number 9. I'm a little impressed by him. Keith Ringer, a singer who I haven't seen play on Eastern first time I've seen his name on the list. Made a nice effort there. 7 of 23 now is Hopkins for 155 yards, 61 of that on one play. So not a bad job by the Miner DBs since that little run.
So it's 3rd down and 10 for Eastern. They're moving from left to right. Late in the 3rd quarter.
There's a hold. Oh, big hit.
And he goes down for a loss on the play.
Well, I'll tell you what, Zach Rydell looks to me like he's probably earned a starting spot tonight. He's the center, but boy, he came in and made a big quarterback sack right there all the way back to the 14-yard line. And that's going to force a punt.
But not before we see the end of the third quarter. And on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, after 3 quarters, it's Linton 36, Eastern Greene 12. Back in 60 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production.
Keith, I can't hear you at all in this.
And it's a punt by Eastern.
I wonder why he did that.
And yeah, it's actually tipped by one of the Eastern players at the 48-yard line. So
Well, that was a bad play there because that ball had a lot of spin. Looked like it could have gone another 10, 15 yards.
And that was Jeff Graham, a freshman, making a freshman mistake. And we're at the 50-yard line where the Miners will take over, 1st and 10.
Well, we might see some work now for some other guys back there, although Rupska's out there. Need to get them in shape, I guess. They usually are in shape, but they're going to be games where they're a little bit tighter.
Double wing formation. Rupska throws it over to the far side. It's caught for a short gain on the play. Hayden was the guy that brought it in for the Miners. We're in the fourth quarter. First play of the fourth quarter, 36-12. And the Miners on top. We apologize for the technical problems that we've experienced here in this second half of the broadcast. But back rocking and rolling again after 3 quarters. It was 36-12. And here's a handoff going right up the middle. And a first down run out across the 40.
Sims and Stewart going to be on the tackle again. Positive running by Hale as he gets down to the 38-yard line, and that's 84 yards now for the Linton Junior. Miners up over 320 yards now total offense.
11 and a half minutes left in the football game, 36-12 in favor of the Miners. Double wing formation. There's a handoff on a counter play. Hayden breaks away from a tackle. He's got some room to make up, and he is going to go down with a loss back to the 44-yard line.
Zane trying to make something happen and ended up losing yards, but he tried to make something out of nothing, ended up losing some yards. Another big hit put on one of the Eastern players. Actually lost 6 yards on that play. Zane with 61 yards now. So we got 3 guys rushing rise up over 60, 70, 80 yards apiece.
So second down, a long way to go as Rupska back to throw over the middle. It's incomplete. And Bo Eaton was the intended receiver and would have been well short of a first down had he brought it in around the 30-yard line. So it's 3rd and long now for the Miners. 16.
Graham was on the ready to make the hit on that. Bo probably in a game important situation might have dove out, laid out for that one, but Graham might have put a big hit on him. 3rd and 16, as you say, for the Miners. 3rd downs tonight. The Miners are 1 of 4. 4 of 8.
Rupska stays in the shotgun, looks to throw across the middle, too high and incomplete. Again, Bo Eaton was the intended receiver.
And that one wasn't on Eaton. That one was a little high. In fact, the last two have been just a little off target for Rupska, maybe showing a little bit of fatigue.
So Big D, after Eastern Greene got those 2 straight touchdowns there in the first quarter to get back within 14-12, what's been the difference, that Miner defense?
It seems to me like we've rotated some different folks in there, but more importantly what I've seen is we're getting to the passer. They're starting to really blitz on Martindale, not giving him enough time to get the ball out of there, and that's affecting these throws. Plus, I think that those DBs now have coached up a little bit, and they've learned a little bit from their mistake, and I'm sure they're going to get worked on this quite a bit during the week. Our first punt of the year.
Rupska, real high kick, but it's a short one. And Eastern's just going to let it drop. What a spin all the way down inside the 5-yard line. Boy, that winds up being a tremendous punt by Dane Rupska. 10-15 left in the football game, and on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 36-12 in favor of the Miners.
Yeah, that ball is at the 3-yard line, so I guess from midfield you want to kick the ball high so your coverage is there. That took a great bounce. And Eastern's got to start in deep in their own territory.
Miners leading by 24 here in the fourth quarter. They've never lost to Eastern Greene. They beat Eastern also last season, obviously. Get their season started. That was on the road. Eastern deep in their own territory. There's a handoff to Postel. He's running laterally, and I don't think he got much, if anything.
Took a straight hit immediately. I believe Van Winkle. Keep wanting to say Van Schoik every time I do that. We'll be calling his name.
That's North Central. You're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
You're wishing a lot of your life away there.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
You don't see them for a while.
And you know they've got a crawl up their stomach from last year.
2nd and 10 from the 3. So no gain for Eastern on that play. In the shadow of their own end zone.
Backs up to the south end zone, which is about 4 or 5 deep Miner fans.
Over center, Martindale rolling out to throw across the middle, caught, and what a big hit at the 15. It should be a first down.
That's Gavin Hill, the tight end, but
Wow.
Curtis Cox, number 9, textbook hit by the Singer.
And Eastern receiver is still down, and why not? That was a huge hit.
Curtis
Stops
Cox
the clock.
took out some.
Eastern down 36-12. We'll remind you our broadcast brought to you by Highcom. Make sure you kick off the school year right with a new security system from Highcom. Want to know if your kids made it home from school safely? Well, you can get email alerts when they walk through the door, or even check on them with a live video feed via your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Get all the information from your friends at Highcom. Call 800-819-8141 or go online to callhighcom.com. Also there in Lyons, one of our sponsors, Lyons Health and Living Center, offering exceptional senior living with a wide range of services from skilled, professional, compassionate caregivers. For a personal tour, call Lyons Health and Living at 659-1440, and by Southside Express here in Linton. They've got everything you need when you're in a hurry, including extra gas for the car. Southside Express is locally owned and operated.
Hill comes off on his own power. Probably got the wind knocked out. He took a big hit. A nice textbook hit by Cox. Hill's another guy, Keith, I don't remember being on the roster last year. Just a sophomore, 6'2", 191. I think Eastern's going to be a load for some teams this year.
Well, a first down from the 15, and in the shotgun, Martindale back to pass across the middle. It is caught by Postel at the 25. So that'll be close to another first down.
Just right across the middle, and Zane Hayden drilled him the best you can drill him.
It is a first down.
Postel hung on to the ball. Good numbers for Martindale, 172 yards passing tonight. However, the rushing for Eastern, Keith, my stats, 24 attempts, -3 yards.
Hurry up offense here for Eastern Greene. They need points in a hurry. They're down by 24. Martindale in trouble. scrambling to the near side, crossed the 25, brought down at the 26. So he's going to scramble for about a yard, maybe 2 at the most.
Herndon and Vowell on the tackle there. That's so tough to defend, because you saw Hopkins was standing over here in the sideline with his hand up, and as soon as that cornerback ran up, he would have dumped it over his head. Gets a 2-yard gain.
Well, don't forget we will have the Graber Post Building star of the game.
That's going to be tough in years like this when you have so many guys contributing and not one guy with a gaudy numbers, but several with good numbers.
Martindale back to throw again over to the far side. It is caught out there by Ringer, and they've got another first down.
Well, this doesn't bother me as much, Keith, because we are on top by 24 points, and we are in the fourth quarter, and I think we're letting them have the stuff underneath. I know coaches won't be happy about that, but they're probably saying don't let anybody get behind you.
7:35 left in the football game. Eastern is on the move, but they're trailing by 24.
Should mention 55 for Eastern. Noah Calkins got hurt earlier with a big hit to the rib cage. Has been on the sideline since that time happened.
They're at the 35-yard line, their own 35, moving from right to left. Here's a pass to the near side. Intercepted by Eberhard. He's going to take it to the distance. All the way down the near sideline. He picked it off on a full run and takes it in. An interception return for a touchdown by Mitch Eberhard.
Yeah, he saw that one coming and made the, Bo Eaton nearly had one earlier.
That's a pick 6 for Mitch.
Mitch has had a heck of a game, making his cause known right there. About 43 yards is what I have on that, Keith.
You called that how much? 40?
About 43 is what I'm going to guesstimate.
42-12 now. 7:07 left to play. And the Miners will go for 2. Val is the only guy that's attempted an extra point tonight for the Miners. He missed. And right up the middle goes Linton, and we've got a flag. It was a procedure call, I believe. The Miners tried a quick snap and taking Rupska right up the middle with it. And it's going to cost them 5 yards. So now the extra point will come from the 8.
Well, in this kind of case, Keith, I have to wonder why you don't try to kick, not necessarily from the 8, but from the 2. You're going to have it'd be nice to know you got somebody that can kick it. And when you're up this much, it'd be nice to see if you got a guy who could get some confidence at the very minimum.
Rupska rolls to the far side. He's going to try to run it now for the 2 points. And did he get in? Yes. Rupska with the 2-point conversion on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. 7:07 left in the game. 44-12 Linton. Back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Six for Mitch Eberhard for the Miners. First one of those this season. Bo Eaton was this close to having one, but he dropped the football.
Yeah, he had that
or
one.
He would have had one.
Miners have scored on a special teams play, at defensive play, through the air and on the ground about every way you can tonight.
Well, you'd have to say Dane Rupska is going to be certainly one of the candidates.
Oh, sure.
For the Graber Post Building Star of the Game. We'll have that announcement in the Bender Lumber post-game show here this evening.
Yeah, he'll be every week. And, he's going to suffer defensive numbers because he's not been on the field defensively a whole lot tonight. A nice job by Jace Herndon in there.
Lucas and Graham are back deep. It's going to be Lucas kicking the football, and it's taken by the Miners.
Jace Herndon kicks it up in the air, and the Miners got the ball. I'm pretty sure that's Herndon. It sure is. Wow.
So technically that goes as a fumble.
Man. We've seen
And
about
that's the 4th turnover of the night for Eastern Greene.
Seen a whole lot of different wacko plays tonight.
So the Miners, already leading 44-12, are now at the Eastern Greene 25-yard line. And they've got the conventional double wing formation. Hale is the fullback. He's to the left of Rupska in the shotgun. Fake the handoff to Hayden in motion. Rupska wants to throw it. He throws it short, and it is caught for a first down. And Austin Hale is the guy that brought it in.
Boy, you like seeing the contributions from so many different players. Down into the 4-yard line. That puts him over 100 yards passing tonight.
They are going to spot that at the 4-yard line.
Eastern's got to feel like when it rains, it pours. And again, it's going to be a case, Keith, where a score really doesn't indicate that Eastern was in the game.
There's a touchdown run for Austin Hale. Hale takes it in from the 4, and Eastern, you could tell, they just really didn't have their heart in that play.
No, he went in standing up. I think that was Eberhardt, actually, Keith, announcing that.
Oh, okay. Well, they said Austin Hale, too, over there. I thought I had the correct call. It was a little hard to pick up as far away as that is.
We're
Eberhardt?
We're going to have to get used to the different mannerisms. Let me see if I can find out. Hey, was that Eberhardt or where we going?
Yeah, that was Mitchell.
Yeah, it was Mitchell. Okay.
Eberhardt takes it in. Now the Miners are going to try the conventional extra point.
Well, I think this is wise.
And this is Kangura.
Yeah, let's see. The snap's
Bad
a little
snap,
low.
but Kangura gets the kick on the way.
To the right.
And it's no good. On the Graber Post Building scoreboard, 6:27 left in the game. 50-12 Linton, back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Well, the Miners turned that turnover into a quick 6 points, but I guess if there's some bad news tonight so far, Dan, we're 0 for 2 in kicking extra points, and we just really took Dylan Deisher for granted, didn't we?
4 years.
Hit over 80% in those 4 years that she kicked extra points. Coach Weber would not let her kick off.
Oh, yeah, she wanted to, but that would have been bad blood there. People would have been coming after her.
So here's Paul Goodman. He will kick off. He did some of that last year. Nice high kick, fairly short, and it bounces. They better fall on it.
Goodness gracious, they're having
trouble. Picked up by Eastern at the 10-yard line. And he moves to the near side, breaks a tackle at the 20. That's Jeffrey Graham, and he's popped out of bounds. But, boy, he made a lot out of nothing there. Gets out to the 35, across the 35-yard line.
And you see that happen. You see that happen so much when it's a busted play. Everybody overruns it. He broke the first tackle and made a nice play out of that. Good for him.
That's out to the 38-yard line.
Now they're lined up in the traditional kind of eye situation.
And there's a handoff to Dodds, who goes to the 40, picks up a couple of yards on the play, and they've got a new quarterback. It's the freshman, Jeff Graham.
And that was Avery Gentry, number 31, a minor freshman. You may remember Ross Gentry a few years back, played split in and kicked for the Miners. I believe this is his younger brother.
50-12, Linton. The Miners broken open a close ball game in the first quarter. It was 14-12 at one point, 22-12 at the end of one. Miners have really shut the door on the Eastern offense that looked really good in that first quarter, putting a lot of pressure on Briar Martindale. There's a handoff right up the middle that's going to lose a yard. Back to the 39. So it's going to be 3rd and 9 for Eastern with 5:20 and the clock moving here in the fourth quarter.
That was Rydell and Franklin in the middle, and Eastern looks to have thrown the towel in. They're just going to run the ball, let this clock run. The Miners up 50-12. A loss of a yard. I believe that was Sims, number 33, on that carry.
Don't forget, stick around. We'll have Coach Oliver be celebrating his first career head coaching victory following Steve Weber, who picked up 128 of them for Linton in 13 years. There's a pitch back to Postel. He's going to have a first down. He's out across the 45 and finally tackled near midfield.
Nice run by Postel. Big shoes to fill to Jared Groomer. A nice stop out there by Curtis Cox from the cornerback.
That'll be a real challenge next week, Eastern and North Knox. It'll be an interesting game to follow. Of course, North Knox is on the minor schedule, and the Warriors have a kid back that missed all of last season, Christopher Grauman, about a 6'3" gangly player that'll be their quarterback.
Supposed to be a decent thrower. They've got some big size on their line, and then if they can keep the injury bug from hitting them, they should be all right.
They've got a playmaker in Jordan Muir also. There's Dodge running across the 50 down to the 45. The fullback, Tyler Dodds, he's just a sophomore.
Again, Van Winkle on the tackle.
Into Linton territory at the 45, down to 4 minutes left in the game, 50-12 Linton.
North Knox, they did have some young guys had to play last year.
They should be better. They've got some linemen back.
They just have to stay healthy. And, of course, we got North Davies to look down the road for, and I expect
North Davies should be very good.
Expect them to be pretty solid.
So last time the Miners lost a regular season game, 2nd and 4, and that handoff gets maybe a yard out to the 44. And not only was that the last time, Dan, there at Cougar Valley that the Miners lost a regular season game, it was one that will be remembered for a while. I think 73-33, something like that.
And that's also the game that Austin set the individual record passing, but that was a severe wake-up call to that group of Miners. That
they came back, and I think and
beat them, and they
avenged that.
They beat North Knox as well, who had beaten them earlier in the season.
Avenged both of those losses in the sectional. Here's Graham on a little delayed. He was maybe a broken play, and he's tackled forward. It's going to be 4th down, and around 2 or 3 yards. 2:45 left in the football game. Down to the 44-yard line, so actually no gain on the play, 4th and 3.
Indiana Jones was on that tackle, but looked like Graham was in no man's land. He turned around, put the ball out, and nobody was there.
Indiana Miller.
Oh, that's Indiana Jones. I'm trying not to do that. I wonder if that's his middle name. You don't know how many people have asked me if that's his middle name. I got to find that out. Thank God you caught me. I said that all season long.
Just call him Indy.
Yeah, there we go.
There's a pitch back to Postel. There's a flag on the play. He got a first down on the run, but we'll check out the flag.
Yeah, you're going to have a holding, right? At about the 45, it's going to nullify that. And he wouldn't have made it. The kid was going to make the tackle out there. I guess the only other bad news tonight is Jace Brewer going down with a knee injury, and we don't know how bad that is. He's a 300-pound kid, and being counted on his depth on the offensive side and also for he was starting defensive tackle. But the positive, Zach Rydell has come in here and really done an outstanding job. Following with that, he's your center. And Linton, usually the center doesn't play the defensive. They keep him on the offensive side of things.
Well, that pushes the football all the way back to the Eastern Greene 44. Don't forget, for all your paving, seal coating, and repairs, to call the Asphalt Doctor for a free estimate, 327-4446, the Asphalt Doctor in Bloomfield. And if you're looking to reduce your TV bill, Call Mike Moore at Midwest Satellite. Sign up for Dish Network. Packages starting as low as $19.99 a month. Free installation, free equipment, and a free iPad. What a deal. Don't call an 800 number from who knows where. Call Mike Morin locally here in Linton. Timeout Eastern Greene, 1:38 left in the football game on the Graber Post Building scoreboard. Linton 50, Eastern 12, back in 30 seconds. This is a Media 5 sports production. Dan and I during the timeout were talking about some of the squirrely gadget-type plays that Luke Dean has become kind of famous for at Eastern Greene. A couple years ago there at Eastern, they did that bounce pass, lateral bounce pass, and almost got a touchdown out of it.
Well, they did. They had a nice long completion out of it. It looked. Everybody thought it was incomplete because it bounced, but it was a lateral. And
here we go, 4th down for Eastern, and about 14 to go. Oh, they're going to go ahead and punt now. High kick, end over end, and the Miners will let it take a really good Eastern Greene roll across the 20, and then it's touched by one of the Eastern players. Hopkins touched it inside the 20.
Somebody's got to coach them to let that ball roll.
Yeah, that's the second time that they've negated a few more yards on a punt that would have rolled a little bit more. But the ball is going to rest at the 18-yard line. So the Miners will have it with 1:26 left. You'd have to think that Linton's just going to take a knee here, leading 50-12, and we'll call it a win.
And I'm sure we're seeing Chad Trent, number 10, out there, probably the quarterback of the future. Got some height on him. Oh, there's a flag.
There's a procedure call, and they blow the whistle.
That's
and
a shame.
Blow the play dead.
That's a shame because Kalen Lawson was getting ready to bust one down the sideline.
He's a sophomore, Kalen Lawson. He's wearing Abe Neff's old number 32. I wanted to say, well, there's Abe Neff.
And he's walking to the huddle next to Ian Fonseca. I think that's his last name, with 23. So it's
Coy Kaiser.
Yeah, when you.
We'll get over that.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to get used to.
Those guys will live forever, though.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. How about number 15?
That's very strange, too.
Of course, that was Austin Karazi, who's now down in South Alabama to play basketball.
Look at that.
What a career.
There he is, Kaiser. Oops, that's not Kaiser.
Yeah, he stood up. He's got a few yards out to the 25-yard line, and that was Ian Fonseca, a freshman.
He took a good hit there, kept his legs going.
Fonseca gets a couple of yards. And we're a minute left to play. So the Miners are not taking a knee. They're letting primarily the junior varsity kids run some plays. Trent, quarterback, he is going to keep it himself, and he's going to get stood up after a gain of a couple of yards. Out to the 25. We'll see if the Miners can get one more playoff. It looks like they will. 30 seconds left in the football game. 3rd down and a couple from the 25.
Now, Keith, I've been doing a Miners football since 2000, and I've seen a lot of jerseys come and go, and it's just the same thing after a guy for 2 or 3 years.
You keep wanting to call somebody Mickey Tosti.
Yeah, well, I can, I don't see 44 out there. Oh, that's Rupska. What am I talking about? Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
There's a handoff right up the middle. Boy, that's a nice gain
run
on
there.
the play that time. That's Cody Corbin, freshman. He gets out to the 35-yard line, and that's going to do it for this football game. Our final score on opening night, week 1 in the books, and on the Graber Post Building scoreboard, Linton 50, Eastern Greene 12. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout. Linton Miners football on Y93, produced by Media 5 Sports.
Minor fans, don't forget, your Linton Miners play at home 6 Friday night against arch rival Sullivan. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Minor fan of the game, Lisa Boo right there. Minor fan of the game, Lisa Boo.
At our final score, 50-12, Linton goes to 1-0 on the season. They defeat Eastern Greene. It looked like it was going to be a real dogfight in that first quarter when Eastern, if they can convert a 2-point conversion play, they tie the game at 14 apiece. But the Miners were able to keep them out of the end zone, kept the lead throughout, led 22-12 at the end of one, 30-12 at the half, 44-12 after three, and they win the football game 50-12. We want to welcome you to the Bender Lumber postgame show, brought to you, of course, by Bender Lumber here in Linton on Highway 54. Everything that you need for your home building and remodeling needs. And Darren Clayton's going to join us here for a look at the stats.
Darren, Miners much better second half against that pass, and I think we got some pressure on the quarterback. I know Coach Oliver's probably going to be up here pretty soon, so let's go ahead and get your rundown on the stats.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start with the defense. The Miners give up less than 200 yards tonight, just 16 yards on the ground for the Thunderbirds, 181 passing. A lot of the yardage came in the first half. They had 150 at half, so just 47 yards in the second half. The Miner defense definitely stiffened up and did a nice job. I had Martindale 10 out of 26 for 181, 197 total for the Thunderbirds on offense. And the Miner offense, boy, it clicked pretty good tonight, I felt like, from start to go. I mean, we had a couple of turnover issues, but overall, really good. The running game led by Austin Hale. He goes 11 times for 83 yards. Zane Hayden, 7 carries for 60. 62 yards for Dane Rupska on 14 carries. The Miners rack up 249 yards on the ground. Rupska throws in 10 out of 17 through the air for another 105, giving us 354 yards of offense.
And it was nice to see that the passing yards were there and really looked pretty sharp. I think he might have got a little tired as the game wore on. Some of the passes a little off. Yeah, one of the things you brought up was the second half effort. I show only about 150 yards passing at the half is what Hopkins had, and so he's saying he finished 181, so he only had 31 yards that second half.
Yeah, did a really nice job, and the Miner receivers, let's give them some credit too. 6 different guys catch the ball tonight. That's led by 31 yards from Bo Eaton. He has 2 catches for 31 to lead the way there. So a nice job by the Miner receiving corps as well.
And I think it's a throwback. You've been around a long time too. I mean, with this offense, it's not something that's new to old-time Miner fans. A double wing. We saw that little inside counter that once again busted for a touchdown. But it's nice to see multiple weapons. It's not like we're going to have one guy with 200 yards rushing. You can't defend the 3-headed monster, 4-headed monsters.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's give credit to the special teams tonight too. Boy, the second half, the kickoff team was great. I mean, either 0 yards or causing fumbles. And who was it that had the pick down there on the kickoff? He was gone if the one guy wouldn't have hit him on the Herndon on the kickoff down there. He would have been gone, but one guy managed to hit him pretty hard down there. But real good job by the special teams. Just an all-around good performance by the Miners in their season opener.
And then we look at the offensive line did a pretty good job as well, other than Jace Brewer. I saw he was out without pads, but it did look like he was iced down or on crutches. Have you heard anything about his status?
I have not heard anything on what the status is for Jace.
Well, that's probably one of the few things maybe working on the point after touchdown. Other than that, the Miners look pretty crisp in their first week. Of course, the Arrows will be testing us with the pass next week.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is a little help coming and some experience in the defensive secondary with Grant Stom. I don't know whether it'll be next week or the week after when he'll be able to play, but that'll be a nice addition to the defensive backfield.
Well, I appreciate you coming up. Unless Keith, you got some questions for him.
Pretty thorough as always. Appreciate it, Darren.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Darren Clayton after the football game with a look at the stats. And again, 50-12 is our final score. The Miners with a nice victory here, and not without a couple of hiccups, Dan, but I think some really good adjustments. We've got, I hate to call it a relatively new coaching staff, but we do have people in some different roles than they had last year, and they're going to be making some adjustments during the early part of the season, and I thought the coaching staff did a nice job making some different calls and getting some things ironed out during the course of the football game. You know, there are a lot of coaches and coaching staffs that are really good practice coaches, but don't necessarily do a great job making adjustments. I think the one thing during a game, but I think the one thing that Linton's always had the luxury of having is a coaching staff that not only does a really good job preparing kids for the game, but they're able to make those adjustments as the game goes on.
Particularly at halftime, and we're privy to a lot of that when we're up here. I mean, I think the first week did have some hiccups as far as even just simple things like the headsets going from the sideline. I heard a lot of trouble with those guys being able to hear each other and not get things communicated as they usually do. And you got some guys stepping up into some new roles, not just at the head coach and the coordinator spots. You've got some new guys even in support roles, and it's going to take a couple games. I think it's good to get this one out. Good to get the W. Sullivan is next week, and we know that's a big rivalry. And I'm sure they had scouts here tonight, and I'm sure that they're thinking, well, we're going to have to air that out because the interior line of defense tonight was really solid, as was said by Darren. And only score I got tonight was North Central was up 41-0 over Duggar in the second half, and you just got to be appreciative. Duggar's even got a team on the field. They lost so many things last week. But I was impressed with Eastern, Keith. Martindale looks like he has a weapon both to run and pass the ball, and they were able to pass the ball pretty good, and they dial that in a little bit. They could be a force this year. And I see Jace Brewer out there on the crutches, but at least he's not in the hospital or got a big bag of ice on his knee.
Eastern Greene has North Knox in a home opener next Friday. And, of course, the Miners, as we mentioned already, a big rivalry game with Sullivan. Of course, that's the only time that the Miners and Sullivan have a chance to play is in week number 2 because they're in different classes and would not meet in a postseason game. And, we've seen Sullivan come in here and score points in a hurry and win some surprising football games against the Miners. And last year we saw a point explosion. A lot of points were put up on the scoreboard in a 58-26 Linton victory at Sullivan. We were impressed with Sullivan's receivers. They were able to get in the end zone last year against a good Linton defense, and we know that they've got the ability to score points coming in here next Friday night.
6'4", 6'5" tight end, and Jake Kinnaman, he caught a couple TD passes on us, and then the Hutchins, I think I'm saying his name right, Michael Hutchins. I might be wrong, but Hutchcraft. There we go, and he's a big guy
tall
too.
Kid.
So they're playing Vincennes Lincoln tonight, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how that game goes. And of course, we're first week. We're not sure where Coach Oliver's at. Do you see him down there?
Well, he did tell me before the game. I reminded him, and here he comes.
Hey, he's running
on the track. Yeah, he's hustling up.
I can remember Coach Weber's first win in 2000, and I think that was against Milan, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been Tecumseh, but that was a long, long, long time ago. And if anybody happens to hear how he's doing tonight, we'd be glad to hear it. But we're waiting for Coach Oliver. He didn't get doused, I don't think.
And remember, you're listening to the Bender Lumber postgame show, brought to you by Bender Lumber here in Linton on Highway 54. And there's Coach Oliver making his way into the press box. And Coach, first of all, handshake. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Getting victory number 1. One of hopefully will be a whole bunch of victory. Yeah, many hundreds of victories. And just got to feel good to get this first one under your belt.
Yes, it feels great. Having been able to have my first win. This is a position I've always wanted my entire life, and fortunate I'm lucky to be out there. God's given me the ability to be out there and do what I can do.
Well, you
work with kids, and I'm fortunate to get my first win.
You knew you were in a dogfight there in that first quarter. 2 touchdowns by the Miners, then 2 quick scores by Eastern Greene. They're a 2-point conversion away from tying that football game. You thought probably at that point it was going to be a real shootout.
Well, I was a little nervous there. I think we were a little nervous as a team out there, and obviously our defensive backs is our weakness, and they exposed it a little bit. But we made a couple adjustments, and we shut them down the rest of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was our big thing. We knew we were making mistakes, and so we corrected them, and then we was able to stop them down. We wanted to just give them the short stuff. We wasn't going to get burnt deep again.
Well, they just had 31 yards passing in the second half. So of the 181, 31 came in the second half. So, I think they responded well. You got some kids back there, a couple that have not seen a lot of varsity action. So I know you knew coming in that this might be something to watch out for. But what do you got to say about your offensive team? Let's talk reps number 1, the physicality of having a quarterback at 220.
Well, when you got a 220 quarterback, you got a stud. And we got a stud there. I mean, we easily put him at tight end. He could be a stud there as force as well. But he's a really smart kid, has a great head on his shoulders, and him being our leader out there at quarterback really helps us out, being able to move the ball. And it gives us 4 good running backs in the backfield with Austin Hale, him, Zane, and then Mitch.
Yep,
we got 4 solid guys there, and he can throw the ball usually.
Now, you've had to sacrifice him on the defensive side of things, I noticed. And you feel comfortable with Herndon and some of the other guys that were out there?
We do right now. Our goal is to mainly keep Dane in there as much as we possibly can. But early in the year, with this warm and humid as this is, where he's going to need a few more breaks. He got beat up a little bit, and he's working hard, and we'll get him there where he can play as much as we can a full game.
Now, what's your take on your offensive line tonight? What grade do you give them?
I will give them a C+.
Okay.
They blocked really well for the most part, but there was times that we missed blocks. We didn't sustain our blocks long enough. The little things that we need to do, and our wings are biggest part of our line as well because they blocked a lot for us. And they were in the same boat there, and they missed a little bit there for us.
Now, you know that Braxton Lannon's going to be coming back. You figure he's going to be part of it. I know that Brewer goes down tonight. What's his status?
Well, we don't know for sure yet. He's got to get evaluated a little bit more. It was his kneecap. I guess he's had issues with that before. So that's one thing that he's going to get some therapy, and we'll see. Hopefully he can be back for next week. If not, we'll rest him then.
Now let's talk Mitch Eberhardt. Scores on a kickoff return, scores on an interception return, made some great catches. He's just a sophomore. How good does that make you feel?
Makes me feel great, knowing I have him for 2 more years.
Yeah.
He's a stud for us again. I mean, he runs track. He's very fast. If you get him going north and south, he's a big boy. He's hard to bring down for us, and we're glad to have him out there.
Depth-wise, how do you feel you're sitting at right now? Because that's an important thing, obviously, as the season wears on.
Our depth is going to be an issue as well. We got some guys there that we need to get ready. There's some guys on the line we need to get ready, and especially there at wing. Losing Pierce Jackson this week really hurt us on our depth, on our offensive skilled guys. So that really hurt us a lot. So we're trying to gain our depth, and we're trying to get a wing there and see if we need to move someone or get someone else there to help us out.
Now, things you obviously to work on. One of the things that you didn't have to work on, the flags weren't out there rampant tonight for week 1. It's a pretty good job in the flag department.
Yeah, we're pretty pleased. There was a couple of them that there's at least one I know was in the red zone.
Yeah.
We practice that. We don't get by with anything in practice of doing silly stuff in the red zone. And that's our one thing we've been working on, especially these last few years, especially last year in the semi-state.
We talked about
that.
We
worked on that. We worked. And so getting down there was a big key for us, and scoring. We have to score every time, and that one penalty. But other than that, we're pretty pleased because we don't want to give up penalties and stupid ones like that. There was like 2 or 3 that I can think of.
Well, the intentional grounding call, me and Keith could not see that at all because he was hit from behind the ball. He was throwing the ball. I don't know how that's intentional grounding.
That's what I tried to say too. But
and the interception there by
Rydell, that was the 6 down here. That looked good as gold.
What was the explanation on that?
My bad, inadvertent whistle.
Well, that's hey, I can respect that. If
an
official makes a call,
there was
blows a call. Yeah, that's it. And we all make mistakes.
And speaking of Rydell, I mean, I didn't expect to see him on the defense as much tonight. And he looked like he kind of shined a little bit.
He plays full speed the entire time. He's a big, tall boy, and he's kind of stocky, but he's got great speed. And on defensive end, we've coached him. If you can't get there, get those arms up to shut down those passing lanes.
Yeah.
And he does a heck of a job with that. And even with the center and blocking, he played one heck of a game. If we had to give a game ball, it'd probably almost be him or Mitch to be fighting for it.
Probably the last thing, if there's anything to be concerned about, is the kicking game after a touchdown. I know we go for 2, you get them 50% of the time, you're still good. But does that worry you at all, or is it just maybe first game jitters?
Well, as a former special teams coach, it does worry me. We practice some of it, but we still need to practice. We're going to get us a kicker.
Yeah, wide open for the job.
It's wide open. We practice a little bit, and Jay came out there. I wanted to get him in there late just to give him a little experience.
Some confidence, yeah.
He's a little reserved. He doesn't know what to expect. He can stand out there and kick him all day as long as no one's in front of him. But as soon as he gets the pressure, he gets a little nervous that way.
Well, that might just take some games of doing it.
Well, Dylan, when she was a freshman, she was the same way. So
she's going to be looking for you now for saying
that. I've already talked to her, and I told her I miss her.
Yeah, it'd be hard to hide her out there.
Exactly.
Well, extreme congratulations, Brian. I mean, we got the Arrows next week, and I know that's a game that you have marked on your calendar.
Oh, yes, I do.
Coach,
we start preparing for them tomorrow morning.
Congratulations, and we'll see you next Friday.
All right, appreciate it.
That's Brian Oliver after the football game. It's time to announce our Graber Post Building star of the game, and we'll have that announcement for you right after this for Graber Post Buildings.
I mean, you can keep it till tomorrow.
It won't be up unless we put it in. So.
Yeah, I prefer it not.
We'll just wait till the end of the season.
That'd be great. Yes, thank you. Thank you, appreciate it.
Good job. Hey, they're ready.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And Dan, you got some different
Oh,
choices.
boy, I
it's
tell
not
you
going to
what.
be easy tonight.
No,
but
I mean, you got a fullback in Hale that ran for 80-plus yards, makes some big runs, and it's hard to ignore Rupska, but Rupska should say, hey, Coach put his vote in for Zach Rydell, which is, when he says it, it makes it tough to not do it. Although Mitch Eberhard, it's, man, oh, man, he returns a kickoff 85 yards. He catches a touchdown pass, runs for touchdown, then intercepts the ball, runs it 48, 3 yards for a touchdown. It's hard to ignore that. But I tell you what, Zach Rydell did impress me. The center, I think we only had one exchange problem. He stepped in on the defensive side of things whenever I didn't expect to see him. And, when Coach Oliver says if there was a game ball going to somebody, it would be him, he's going to get it. I think Everhart will be calling him quite a bit this year.
all right, congratulations to Zach Rydell. He is our Graber Post Building Star of the Game for being named Star of the Game. REMC, again this year, pleased to donate $50 to his school's athletic department. That's Linton Stockton. That's from Utilities District of Western Indiana, REMC, a strong supporter of local and area high school sports. Don't forget, next Friday night, right back here, Roy Williams Field, Week 2, Sullivan coming in, will be a battle. So we should have a big crowd, should have an outstanding high school football game. We'll be on the air with our pregame show at 6:30. We'll work on getting our A game back from a technical standpoint. We apologize for the problems in and out during the broadcast. We'll get that all worked out, some new technology that we're using this year, and we'll get the bugs worked out. We learned some lessons tonight, and we won't make those same mistakes next week, hopefully. Keep our fingers crossed.
I don't have to worry about it.
I want to thank the folks back at the station, Rebecca Duckworth back there, engineering controls, Jonathan Lang coming out all the way and trying to get us all fixed away, and finally we did get the fix, so we appreciate all of his mileage and his efforts. And my thanks to Big D, Dan Phillips. I'm Keith Dodds. Again, our final score, Linton 50, Eastern Greene 12. Thanks for listening, everyone. Good night from Roy Williams Field in Linton.